What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the RSL. I'm Tasteless. Joined with me is Sturgeon. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. We have got some fantastic StarCraft coming up here today. Very excited to see people like Rogue, MaxPax, Clem on the Protoss. You know, lots of, and obviously Bunny as well. Some amazing players today. It's looking good, man.
It's going to be a crazy day. I'm super pumped for this. We did have a little bit of a shift in the schedule here. So this is Group B, but it's a third day here for us at the tournament. So we're done with Group A and we're done with Group C. As you can see, Hero, Zhao, Cure, and Trigger have advanced. We do not have any Zergs surviving yet, although I think Rogue has I think he's got a shot. It's kind of weird to say this, but, you know, he could also end up dying out here. The Group B is pretty scary looking. And by the way, we do have Group D tomorrow. Yeah,
I'm just looking at Group A here. The biggest standout result for me is Reyna not making out of the group stage for the first time. That was a big shock. Rogue and Shin, the other Zerg chances here remaining. I think Rogue has a good chance of getting out of this group for sure, but Clem is a very scary player to go up against as a Zerg if that ends up happening. As is MaxPax. His EVP is some of the best in the world.
Yeah, I mean, MaxPax's PVZ is just truly inspired here. We're in week 2 here on Saturday. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time, same place. Join us over the next couple of weekends here, and we're going to be wrapping up Season 1. We do have a 3-day RSL event here on the final week with an early start there on Sunday. I gotta say, man, you know, this is our 4th season here for the RSL. It's crazy how smooth things are going.
Yeah, indeed. It's very smooth. And I like that it's spaced out a bit, give the players more time to prepare their build, you know, prepare for their opponents, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and we're also super grateful, by the way, for Archon Studio. They're the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game manufacturers, and pre-orders are live right now. You got to check them out. Let me actually bring up our giant box. Oh, my God, this thing's so heavy. They sent this to us. It's massive. We've got Zeratul right over here. And they're just getting started. So I'm super excited these guys are still supporting us. And honestly, I think they gave the game justice. They did justice to our beloved game here. It looks just like the art in the game. And, you know, it makes sense, right? You know, a tabletop miniatures game for a game like StarCraft, that's like the perfect match, right? The ultimate RTS game. Who would not want to play that in the tabletop form?
It makes so much sense, and I cannot wait to watch you assemble and paint that figurine. I think
it's going to be like watching a gorilla with a chemistry set. By the way, guys, get on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Revive SC2. So this is a community-funded endeavor here. You know, StarCraft 2 has had 2... honestly kind of weird, bumpy, ambiguous, turbulent years. And we just thought, you know, we're all fans of the game. We thought, why don't we just not wait for someone else to come rescue this situation, this scene? We love the game. We want to keep playing the game and enjoying the game. We'll just make our own thing. And then we'll keep this this tournament, this league alive in whatever format it can be kept in. And you guys have been generous. We've been able to build out a broadcast studio here in Seoul, where we're working out of right now. We've done a crazy live event here in Seoul as well, where we rented out one of the big esports arenas, and that honestly went incredibly. So if you want to support us here, where it's not just, you know, a tournament over, you know, a few days, but actually, you know, weeks and weeks and weeks of build up to the finals, we hope to earn your support. Please consider signing up.
And if you do sign up, you can also get a 20% discount on all of the merchandise over at tastelessthreads.com. You got your gamer gear, you got your hoodies, you got your Brain Rot t-shirt. Is that what that is? You got the pictures of
I think it's Korean for
Motoses.
Mind Games, but it could be a
But that's
Brain Rot.
Mind Games? I just presumed that was Brain Rot.
Well, it could be Brain Rot too. I mean,
when I try a mind game,
when
it's like
Artosis
Brain
loses,
Rot,
it's Brain Rot, okay? when he wins, it's a mind game. We got a lot of great stuff on there. You know, it's just another way to support us. So we're trying to grow the YouTube, and our YouTube is actually so small. We're so insecure about it. It really bothers us. And when people ask us about it, they say, you know, your YouTube's small, and I almost get in a fight with them. Okay?
I can't sleep.
I can't sleep.
Keeps me awake at night.
Sometimes my wife goes, honey, what's wrong? And I go, the YouTube's not as big as it needs to be. The good news is it's growing, but we need you guys to like the video, leave a comment. I know that this is like, you know, if you watch stuff on YouTube, you can almost tune out what I'm saying, but doing that actually helps us get into the algorithm. And the reality is StarCraft 2 actually performs pretty well on YouTube, so we just want to try to get enough of this enough attention so that the algorithm pushes this into like the StarCraft bloodstream on YouTube. So even if you're watching on Twitch or wherever you're watching, consider subscribing there.
Yeah, and it's all spoiler-free, all organized. If you have to leave during a broadcast and you don't want to know who wins,
yes,
until you see it, you can check it out on YouTube later. And thanks to everyone who's already done so.
Yes, we really appreciate it. And yeah, we thought it was important that a lot of people that are into StarCraft, they're older, they have kids, or they've got jobs. Or kids and jobs. I mean, it's crazy out there. And so,
you're describing my life right now. They're going gray. They're getting shorter.
Yeah, that's right. Their knees are bad. It's horrible.
Back pain is real, man.
We wanted to make something that's spoiler-free. So, like, if you want to watch this and you can't tune in live, as long as you avoid, spoilers from your friends, you can actually consume it just like it would be like a Netflix series or something else. We're ready now to go into game number 1. This is Rogue versus MaxPax, and I gotta say, out of all the matchups we could have for this phase of the tournament, I think this one I'm the most excited about. These two players.
Yeah, so am I. I feel like we haven't seen them go up against each other too much in recent times, and ZVP, a lot of the Zergs are struggling in this matchup at the moment, and I always feel like Rogue is a guy who can bring something fresh to the table. We saw that in ZVT, kind of revolutionized it with the Mass Overseer style, this kind of thing. So I'm very curious what his take is on the matchup right now.
Yeah, and MaxPax for me as a player, like obviously I've always been aware of him. He's very good, but he was someone who I wasn't getting to cast because most of my casting was done in spaces where the players are there physically in my career as a caster. And so, MaxPax, he famously, he's, no one knows what he looks like, right? I mean, he's probably wearing a Phantom of the Opera mask right now as he's playing. So I'm excited to be casting him here now because I just don't have a whole lot of experience casting him. Now, for Rogue, obviously this has been one of the greatest Zergs in the 25, probably 26 history of StarCraft 1 all the way through 2. This guy is a god. But I don't know what his condition's going to be like going into this RSL.
Yeah, I mean, if he's playing at his best, he can take on absolutely anybody in the world. He is all the way up there. Mechanically, just so sound. His strategy is so good. And a very confident late game player as well, which in this matchup, sometimes it does go the distance. Not all the time, but it's good to know if it does get to that point. He is very proficient. We saw him forced to take this his second base over at the third base location here. The natural, that probe did make the drone go over there. Nothing too crazy though here in the early game as we start to build up the tech as this cyber core will be finishing shortly.
Yeah, we're going to wait for that core to finish and figure out what kind of game exactly we're going to have. Rogue has shown, true range of play in the matchup ZVP. He's very comfortable, going to those extreme kind of stretched out late games, but if he doesn't feel like late game is going to make sense for him, he's very okay with trying to power down the Protoss early on and kind of beat them down into submission. And right now it seems like, at least from the Zergs I've talked to and from the games that I've seen, it does seem like the Zergs, the general consensus is that this is a tough matchup in a long game. And by the way, there's always going to be one race that seems to want to outpace the other. In StarCraft, that's always kind of been a thing, all the way back into StarCraft 1, where sometimes one race, as an example, Terran versus Protoss, generally Terrans win against Protoss by pushing kind of in the mid to late game. There's cheeses and all that, but otherwise Protoss tries to outlast them. They get too big. Same thing here, although, StarCraft 2 has had so many iterations of it that that equation changes. Sometimes it's one race, trying to end it before the other. So anyways, all of that is to say that I think there's a very realistic chance that maybe Rogue doesn't go for a supreme late game here.
Yeah, indeed. Does shade in with those two adepts there. Gets just one drone for his troubles and will be forced to leave. I mean, it's a free drone. Why not? As long as you don't lose these adepts, you'd love to keep those alive to help you get your third base up. We do see it's an Oracle follow-up behind this. Rogue, in anticipation, already has his spores on the way. This Oracle going to fly across the map. There's some Lings coming around down the bottom side. They're actually, they will get spotted here trying to pick off these adepts, but the Oracle will be there to save the day.
He's going to drive those Lings back, and I don't think too much is going to happen for a little bit here. I mean, the Zerg basically just wants to drone as much as possible. We do have the Evo chamber coming down here. We'll see if we have any kind of surprising upgrades there or not coming out of that. That is kind of put in the back in a way where it might be hard to find.
Yeah, that should be a +1 melee upgrade. Normally when you get the Evo Chamber around 4 minutes, you're going to play +1 melee Lings, go into your tech a little bit later than Russian Hive into Hydralisks, that kind of thing. And this style's really good against Blink Stalkers, which it looks like MaxPax is probably doing. This is kind of his bread and butter, right? Oracles into Blink Stalkers. Those Lings nibbling away on the pylon right now. The Adepts are actually across the map. Does pick off the Oracle, trying to make the 4th. Yeah, MaxPax being quite aggressive here. Yeah.
The Ling's coming down now. He can't get much done. The Adepts actually get in and they start to get the kills. You know, most of this, of a game like this is really about just trying to deflect and deny those drones getting killed. 6 is massive. He's going to go almost all the way up to 8. He gets to 7 here. That's a lot of worker kills, man. You've already paid for the Adepts and more with that.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, that's just 2 Adepts. Like, you don't expect 2 Adepts to walk in and kill 8 of Rogue's drones. Like, his defense is so good usually. So maybe not the early game he's looking for. We do see the +1 melee on the way, as well as a Baneling nest here. So that's going to open up some aggressive potential. These Lings are trying to scout the Pro's third base. You want to know if they're taking their 5th and 6th gases, which can indicate they're taking up to Storm. Or if they don't have them, you want to check their units. Are they making Adept, Stalkers? We can see it all on the production tab, obviously. But for the Zerg, you're kind of in the dark for a little bit here, and you're just trying to glean whatever information you can.
Yeah, it's just been nonstop Lings. And the crescendo is going to be when the Baneling's nest finishes, and he's going to make a lot of Banes here. Sometimes when you play Zerg, like, if you just lose enough drones early on, you're kind of like, I'm actually just going to try to all in here. I don't know if this is the case here now.
Yeah, I think it is. I thought he was just scouting, but he's only on 40 workers here. He is just completely cut workers. It's going to be a +1 melee kind of timing here with the Lings and Banes.
Yeah, and you know, he was showing a couple Lings over there in the front, maybe to try to sell this as like, oh, I'm just going to try to counterattack you. He's got Banelings, I think 4 on both sides. He's going to do a little bit of a Timmy 2 screens here. And he's going to come in and hit. Good reactions here by MaxPax, who is still going to lose some probes. He's going to try to send this all the way over here to the entrance. He's going to try to pop that.
Can they open the door here, Tasus? The Balers don't quite get the connections they're looking for. Some Stalkers still remain blocking the wall, and here come the Oracles. The 3rd is completely ransacked, but MaxPax just needs to hold here. He's on 60 workers right now. You can afford these losses.
Yeah, and the Stalker counterattack is kind of unexpected, right? I mean, normally you see that used to defend here. These are all the way out on the map. They can't really do a whole lot. They can be recalled, but not before the Nexus is destroyed. But the reality is like, the Wallen's still there for MaxPax. He's got 61 workers, so he lost some workers in that process. By the way, there's more Lings coming in Burrow.
Wow.
I guess the idea is if he can break the Cybernetics core and get in the main, like, Burrow's just annoying.
Yeah, it's very difficult to deal with. And you don't have, observers or anything to see that right now. You do have the Oracles. Killing the 3rd base was huge. Rogue trying to get some more damage done, and he's going back into drones now.
Yeah. I mean, it's painful, right? You know, going back into drones after an attack like that, I guess it's the only thing you can do, right? Other than trying to double down and maybe lose the game even more quickly. But, like, this is where it's pretty comfortable for MaxPax. Like, a lot of what he needed to do in this game, he's pulled off. He survived the mass Ling counterattack. He killed those drones early on, which I think was, basically the butterfly effect moment that caused all this that we brought to us here. And now with the counterpunch, he's going to deny that 5th hatchery. The Lings are going to try to counterattack, and there is, oh my god, barely a wall in time here. Can he block that?
The shield battery's frantically trying to heal this Cybercore's shields, trying to keep it up. It looks like it might just stay alive, but more Lings come into the 3rd. Here are the Oracles, though, with that cannon. Rogue is somehow MaxPax somehow defending here. I can't believe he held the 1st wave with his Stalkers on the other side of the map. I thought that was going to be him in hot water for a minute there.
You know, it's funny because when the Stalkers were out there, I didn't actually see them moving on the map. So I'm looking at this, I'm like, he should have more stuff, right? Like, I mean, he looks like he's going to hold this, but yeah, of course, he's got the Stalkers moving out on the map. Now, you got to be careful with as MaxPax here. It's, Stalkers are not great against Lings, but if you have like Archons with them, as long as you control and angle things right, you can do pretty well. So I think he can basically commit to this attack up here.
Yeah, he's going to push with these Archons and Stalkers down the left side of the map where there is very little creep. Rogue now just still trying to establish his 4th base at 9 minutes. We'll be able to get a cancel here. That's very nice. Lings pop back into the 3rd base, but there's already Zealots waiting for them. The Archon will morph. I think he'll hold on there. This base going to go down for Rogue. MaxPax is putting the pressure back on Rogue here, saying, no, I'm not going to let you drone to AD, do whatever you want. this is my time to be aggressive.
Yeah, the Lings are going to come up now. They are hitting. And, you know, I just feel like there might be enough Archons that he can kind of deal with this, but the Archons need to be covering the Zealots and the Stalkers, and they're getting fragmented. And crazily enough, I think the Lings might be able to take out that final Archon, and from there you just need to get a few more Lings out. Well, hold on a second. Does he just barely have enough of, like, these tier 1 units? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it just kind of spirals out of control. The Archons are so amazing against Lings with the splash damage, obviously. And I'm not sure if Rogue planned on this attack from the beginning, or if he just, like you say, oh, I've lost 8 drones, I'm just going to send it. But MaxPax was able to lose his third, have his Stalkers across the map, and still hold that.
My experience at times has been like, if you're against a really good Zerg and you get like an edge, like you have one of those moments where you're like, oh, my Adepts are going to kill 7 or 8 drones. It's almost better to treat it like now they're going to all in. Because, you know, some of these Zergs, when they're so good, if they're not in that perfect position, they're going to be more comfortable trying to all in from there. But great game. Interesting to see Rogue continuing to counterattack back there and almost making it work. But at the same time, also seeing that MaxPax is going to counterattack the counterattack, which you don't normally see in the matchup.
Right. I really think if Rogue was able to break the natural of MaxPax there when the Banelings were hitting the units and they just didn't have the damage to take those units down, if they do get in, I think the game completely changes. But MaxPax's crisis management was top-notch. He was able to stop the Lings getting the natural, keep the damages to a minimum, and just, from there, play it out with the numbers advantage, right?
Yeah, we're going to go to 10,000 feet now for game number 2. MaxPax with a 1-0 lead. Rogue electing to try to end that game very quickly, but ultimately failing with a counter push there for MaxPax. Are we going to have something similar here in game number 2? We're going to find out.
Yeah, indeed. In the bottom right, we have MaxPax as the blue Protoss, and in the top left, we have Rogue as the red Zerg. I think one thing we can say in this game is we probably don't expect 2 Adepts to kill that many drones again, right? That's like one thing that happens, and you go, oh, no, I just need to deal with that better. And then in game 2, you kind of clean it up.
It's one of those, this is going all the way around.
Yeah, this may be one of these proxy hatch builds. We saw Reyna use that a lot in Group A. He was doing it with 12 pools, so it's kind of different. But you can proxy the hatch to lay the nexus of the Protoss.
Look at this. He's like, oh no, I want to make a base here.
Oh, he's taking it there. Very interesting.
Oh yeah, no, you can do that on this map. Okay.
Yeah, so not denying the Protoss natural, but he will have creep outside the wall off of the Protoss. You can definitely be very, very aggressive from this if he wants to.
So the only way, well, he should actually hide that drone that's coming back, because that would give away what's happening here. I almost think when you're doing this build, I guess it doesn't matter because it wasn't seen, but you really want to like sell that there is a second hatchery somewhere, you know, in one of the 2 other possible locations you could expand at. Because, you know, the probe, there's other things they could scout. They don't have to stay in the main. They could confirm the location of the second hatch, or see that it's not there, and then you know, okay, this is like a scumbag hatchery. It's like somewhere in my natural, or it's just outside my natural. But he's not doing that right now, so there's no way to tell.
But I think right now, as he goes down this ramp, the alarm bells might start to be ringing here. He just doesn't see that hatchery there. He's going to go over, see there's no hatchery here, go to this other third base location, and when he sees there's no hatchery here, MaxPax might just go into full panic mode here. Yeah. He might start sending something out the front to see if there is a hatchery. That might be what this probe's going to do.
Yeah, the probe's going to come down, and is he going to move? Okay, now he might still suspect this is coming. Oh, no, yeah, he knows for sure there's creep here.
Yeah, he's chronoing out this unit as fast as he can. He's already got something.
I'm like, he might not know that that's creep. He might just think that part of the map is silver.
Yeah, so he does know now, and let's see how good his response is. He's getting the Adepts. He's still going to go for the Stargate. 2 Spine Crawlers being made at this hatchery, so he's going to plant those down in front of the wall here and start to chip away at these Protoss buildings.
Yeah, and so, you know, this is a game where Protoss has to just not die, but it's going to be really tough. The Zerg is going to have a lot of momentum, and if the wall-in gets broken open, it could be fatal. So batteries are going to come down here. He needs to basically do whatever it takes to sandbag the attack that's going to come through here. The spine crawlers burrow. Remember, they don't burrow that fast, so like the placement of that's really important. Like, was that burrow too far up and can't hit the buildings below it? Stuff like that. Also, remember that the cybernetics core is pivotal tech here. It's part of the wall end, but if you lose that, you can't make it like adepts or stalkers or anything like that.
Yeah, one interesting interaction to keep an eye on here is the air versus the anti-air. Right now, we only have one queen at the front with another one being made. Oracles are on the way, so you will need enough anti-air at some point. Right now, though, these buildings starting to take a beating, going down. This gateway will fall. The cybercore now under attack, not being healed by these shield batteries here. This probe is just hanging out over there. Oh, the Lings get in!
So he's going to run right into the main. Oh, he's going to turn back around here. I guess he sees the Oracle. Better to let that energy burn off. He's going to be able to pop the cybercore. Now, you can still make oracles with that, obviously. And oracles are going to be very handy. Hold on, he's got to be careful. He's going to go for that queen.
He's going to try and snipe this queen. That could be huge if he can pick off all the queens. The oracles will reign supreme. I was going to say I love the placement of the adepts in between the shield batteries, but he moves them. They will shade away right now. It looks like all of these pylons going to go down, and the shield batteries as well. How is he going to try and save this base? He's making another oracle, but then he cancels it. He's remaking his cybercore frantically right now. 2 more queens on the way, as well as a spore crawler at the front. So it's going to be hard to overwhelm the anti-air here, I think. I think this natural might just be going down.
Yeah. And I mean, right now you're on one base.
Oh, that's at home. Okay.
The core is being remade. But this is also kind of a weird position, right? Zerg doesn't have like I guess they do have an expansion in the sense that there's like that hatchery over here that we're looking at. So like you could mine from that. I think what you probably want to do is try to just keep Protoss on one base and play a really tight game. These games look funny because sometimes the way to play is to not even really try to go too hard into econ as Zerg, but just match them to the point where they're going to run out of minerals. And then it's like, okay, well, at least you have another base somewhere, and you can like send drones there or do something like that.
Right, yeah, Rogue is making drones now. There's 2 oracles here, starting to target fire down some of these queens. I think this is the big kind of challenge for Rogue now, is how he... Oh, you can't lose this! I was going to say, how are you going to deal with 3 oracles running around the map if you do try and macro? But actually losing one there and heavily damaging another is huge.
Yeah, he's going to go for Banelings, by the way. The Lings are going to come in. He's just checking. Wants to see what buildings are warping in. What kind of game am I getting into here?
I feel like I'm back in like Wings of Liberty. It's like a one base 4-gate or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is like right back in the beta. And he's going to go for Glaives. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think he just needs to make whatever he can here. There's so much Zerg here. Going to get the surround on these adepts. They will all fall. Up come the queens to deal with these oracles. Okay, falls back to the shield battery. That adept will stay alive. Rogue right now, he's on 22 drones, so he is actually outmining the Protoss, given that he has this other hatchery here. And now he's going to go back into Lings and probably shove this once the creep gets far enough into the Protoss main.
So you want these spine crawlers right here at the ramp, where like the only way that you can attack them is if everything's stuck, kind of bottlenecked on the ramp. Oh, yeah. Never mind. Looks like, shut up, Tasteless. This is where you want the spines. I didn't think he was going to actually push up in here. Okay, so you can do this too. And I mean, I think he can hit the gateway with at least 2 of those, right?
Yeah, they will be in range. Banelings morph in. These oracles do manage to pick off 1 queen. There's still 2 and a spore remaining, though. It's going to be very hard to overwhelm that. And these buildings, if they go down, it's going to hurt MaxPax's production so much. Here come the Banelings, Tasteless.
He's going to come in now. The bangs are going to pop. They're going to go right to where those workers are. I mean, there's just nowhere to run, nowhere to hide.
They frantically try and split, but 10 go down instantly. Oh, MaxPax in so much trouble right now. All his workers going down. Only 9 remaining. The production falls. There's nothing left here. He's fighting till the last breath, but I think the writing's on the wall at this point.
I'm like, no, he's got this. There's still a shot. Don't worry. I mean, that was pretty sick.
That was such a cool build.
See, guys, matchup's fine. We should just do that. Where were those strats the other games? That was sick. Very impressive. MaxPax had a couple fumbles there. Yeah, I think letting him up the ramp like that was a big mistake with the spines. Although, you know, losing the oracles as well, that's...
Yeah, at that point, the action had kind of died down. That was really the only fight that was happening. So you have to take super, good care of those oracles in that moment. But, like, this is not a new strategy. We've seen spine quarter rushes from a proxy before, but it doesn't happen too often. So I feel like the Protoss often get surprised by it. And then you try and remember the response, right? And do it as fast as you can. But
well, it's like you've got your whole plan for the game and what the meta looks like and everything. And then you see the creep just, right outside your base and you go, okay, you know, now we've got to deal with this perfectly, and if we don't, we're dead. And he was not able to deal with it perfectly. So that's going to put us at 1-1 as we go into Game 3 here on a Throne of Dunes.
Throne of Dunes, yeah. And I like what you said earlier about Rogue being able to not just play the late game, but be aggressive. And that's exactly what we saw in this game. A scary player at any stage of the game. Will we see something aggressive here going into the deciding match, or will he try and play something more standard?
You know, one of the things that I remember most about all the years I've casted of Rogue was like, this more so than even like, you know, the BlizzCons where he won and everything, was like one GSL, and I can't remember which season because I've done too many, but he like played a very specific style the whole way through into the finals, and then played Maru, and then just went like Roach Ravager every game and won, and he wasn't doing that the whole tournament. And it was just like he just completely shifted gears, and I'm like, man, he kind of can do everything here. So yeah, I mean, you know, he's a very, very capable player. It's less about what I think the meta in the game is for Rogue and whether or not he can perform, because he's basically playing on whatever kind of position Zerg has to play from. He's very good at that.
Yeah, this game we do see Rogue's able to get his natural hatchery down in the proper location, not forced to go to the third base. That's always nice as a Zerg player. And yeah, back home, MaxPax is going to be teching up here, throwing down his core shortly. This pro will be very happy to see a hatchery in a pool at home in Rogue's base this game. Knows it's going to be at least a little bit more of a normal opening here. Just your standard hatch gas pool. And yeah, he will be taking his Nexus shortly.
And what kind of game is it going to be? I mean, it's been pretty short, pretty action-packed. No late game just yet here. I think this is honestly probably one of the tougher groups Rogue has been in his career, and that's saying a lot because most of the time, you know, in his history, he's been like the favorite or one of the favorites, right? But I think right now, the players that are here are really strong. Even Bunny. Bunny's like really scary nowadays, very active. Where, you know, if you interviewed me, or if I casted this, you know, during like the COVID era or before that, I would have, you know, defaulted to Rogue always, you know, being the favorite here. But, you know, times change. It's a beautiful thing. It's like everybody's competing and everybody's improving, and that's how you get these games that are so crazy and dynamic. So, you know, obviously in this game, Rogue would love to pull out a win here against MaxPax.
Definitely, and this is one of the new maps, right, that we have in this season. So I'm curious if there's any kind of map-specific strategies we may see here. I feel like MaxPax kind of just wants to do the same thing every game. He wants to open Oracles, he wants to go into Blink Stalkers, and then maybe from that point we'll see some deviation. But in the early game, he kind of has his game plan, what he thinks is the best way to go in the matchup. And he's an optimizer, right? He will take a build and just grind it and grind it and grind it until it's so optimized that it doesn't matter if you know it's coming.
So we've got two Lings coming up here to do a little bit of scouting. And, you know, there's nothing to defend here, so you got to micro this pretty precisely, but he does that. Even interrupting mining time is a pretty big deal. You know, when you have builds out this early, you don't really want to have the probes ever stop for anything. So the Stalker's finally back. He's going to chase this up here. You see the Oracle being produced up here, which, again, doesn't really signal any type of build other than, you know, clearly it's going to be Stargate with some kind of tech behind it.
Yeah, I like that you snuck the Lings around the Adept, so they didn't get picked off. You get to see that it's a Stalker and a Stargate without having to send your Overlord in or anything like that.
Yeah.
Without the Stalker, you know, killing that, which is always nice. As it is one Adept, you're not going to shade into a mineral line. You need two of them to one-shot a drone, obviously. It's going to be a nice early third base here for the Protoss MaxPax. He'll secure this with his Oracles, and then we'll probably see his tech coming up shortly after the second gate. Normally he goes into Blink, that kind of thing. Spore Crawler's coming down as well on the side of Rogue, so he will be able to, you know, defend himself from the Oracles. And I feel like if Rogue doesn't take the damage that we saw in Game 1, I feel like we'll see a really strong mid-game from him, and it could look really different.
So we've got, you know, excuse me, the Oracle is going to get in here. I was about to say it's probably not likely he's going to get much done with one. It's pretty hard to get drone kills with one Oracle, but he just did it.
Yeah, he just got 3.
Yeah, and I think probably forced a Spore before it needed to be made over there. In that moment, the second Oracle can now pair up with this, but I guess he's going to tag it in. It's like WWE over here. Out of the ring with this. Yeah, that's right. Out of the ring with this Oracle and into the ring with this one. in what's looking to be pretty healthy. And MaxPax is going to be the one. Oh, my God. It's the Terracotta Warriors down there. I didn't know those were there on that map.
Look at those guys hanging out.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So we got Glaives coming up here.
Yeah,
so
wow.
It's actually, even though both of these games were very explosive and all about Protoss defending, Protoss this time around is going to go wind up for a sharp mid-game attack.
Yeah, going to go into the Glaives instead of Blink this game. I like it, mixing it up. We did see the Rogue went for the +1 melee in game one, so this could deal well into that. Still trying to get a couple more drone kills. And I think the first Oracle kind of caught Rogue by surprise a bit. Normally they wait for 2 before they go in. And he did lose a couple there. Forge coming down as well. We'll have that +1 on the way. And now the game is all about, can Rogue read this attack that will be coming shortly? The Lings spotting in. They do see a couple of Adepts there. Really want to see the next warp in of Protoss. Like, if you see a few Adepts warp in now, like if you were seeing these Adepts, you would know. And Rogue has to figure this out very quickly.
Okay, so you see this many Adepts, you got to assume there's going to be Glaives with it. And so he's just running in parallel with that. The Oracles are coming down here. And Zerg is going to, it looks like he wants to try to plug up the entrance and keep the Queens on the outside. And the idea is you're more concerned about the Shades. Get that.
Ooh. Yeah, he actually had the Queens on the top of the ramp, but decides to forego that as they can go round. And go around they will. The Stasis Trap going down right at the front here. There are some Roaches and Queens. The wall's actually been abandoned. And the Adepts will get in. Are they going to finish this Shade? They will. They're on top of all these Roaches. Roaches trade well. But right now, there just isn't the numbers here for Rogue. They're going to Shade into the main as well. And this is where it gets difficult to split your army as the Zerg.
Yeah, I mean, this has basically already been a failed defense.
Yeah.
Like, the whole idea, if this goes correctly, is they never got into the main. But he kind of misstepped there. Cancel. And again, StarCraft 2, things happen so fast. You can fumble the ball for, like, the blink of an eye, and you're going to eat a lot of damage. So we have, what, 20 drones nearly killed off here. More Adepts are being fractured into different parts of this base. And behind this, Protoss is probed up. We saw 2 probes or 3 probes being made at a time back there. And this basically means mission accomplished, right? Now you can go into a more standard tech, and it's kind of a 1-2 punch. The Adepts come in there and they cripple the Zerg and slow the Zerg down, and then you do this attack that is more all-encompassing and harder and more sophisticated, and the Zerg can't beat it. That's the game plan from here.
I kind of expected Rogue to perhaps maybe go all in after something like that, because you made a bunch of units, Roaches, right? You lost 20 drones. Maybe going Roach Ravager and just sending it there was an option before Blink is out. But he's decided, no, I'm going to just play this out from here. I'm going to go back to droning, keep getting his upgrades. He's already got +2 on the way, as well as Bane speed. And MaxPax now throwing down his 4th base and going into Storm as well. I got to say, I like his position here. He's going to be able to pressure if he wants to with these Stalkers.
Yeah.
If you have like a ton of Lings, you can surround them. But if you don't have enough, the Stalkers can make you force you to make so many units as the Zerg instead of workers. So we may see that option, but MaxPax's been a little bit more defensive right now.
Yeah, I think he's taking his time. I mean, in a lot of ways, when you do an Adept attack like that and it works, this is supposed to be an easy game.
Yeah.
Right? This is really more, it's almost more about you at this point in time than your opponent, as in performance. Like, I just need to not mess up. I need to not drop the ball here. This is supposed to be a very, very difficult game for the Zerg. So I just got to make sure I hit all my marks. I got to tech correctly. I got to not miss any pylons, stuff like that. And so right now, MaxPax is just shaving off creep tumors on the map and basically inhibiting growth. Not going so far out that Lings really can counterattack, and he's filling in all those checkmark boxes for tech here. We get Storm finishing. He's getting Zealot charge, all that.
Yeah, I do like that he's still being active on the map with these Stalkers, trying to clear out some of this creep. You don't want to let this map get covered in creep. Suddenly your job becomes way harder. And I like what you said about, you've done an amazing... Oh, hang on, hold the phone. Here come the Lings. Going to get a full surround on these Stalkers. They will blink away, though. Not enough to have another set wrapping around the back to make sure they can't escape. And Rogue playing a very Ling-heavy style here with the upgrades. I think we might be looking at some Ultralisks potentially in this game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think...
there's a Spire as well.
Well, Ultras can definitely be a thing much later on, right? If you're going melee and armor like you are here. But he also could make a bunch of mutas here. We saw this in, now I'm forgetting which game it was, but last weekend we had a game that looked like this, where it was like mass muta and then Lings. on the ground and kind of locking in the mid-game and trying to do counterattacks and hit different areas there.
Yeah, we have a fleet beacon coming down as well, so MaxPax also going towards the late game. We have a Zealot run by going to the bottom right side of the map. That will try and sneak around to the 4th base, I think it's the 5th base now of Rogue. And he's going to pressure at the front as well. Timmy Two Screens, like you said, try and distract him and then send those Zealots in.
Yeah. Oh, I like just sending a couple of these Zealots down in here if you could bait out any Baneling hits like that. Now, Rogue is just like playing the macro game here. And I think he is really, really good. Him and maybe Dark sometimes even more so. But those two out here in Korea are like some of the best defending and barely holding on Zergs. So this is, we're going to have MaxPax proceed with a lot of caution. We're getting a double robo here, by the way. One's already done, and it's making it immortal, but a second one started. The mothership's here, so kind of the cherry on the cake here as far as tech goes for Protoss. And I think when MaxPax gets that mothership out, we're going to start to see some roaming and probably see him expanding. Actually, it's already happening. Kind of expanding towards the middle here because you can both push out and defend that area at the same time.
Yeah, Rogue going for his own Adrenal. He's +3 melee, getting that Ultra Cavern. We'll be going into Ling Bane Ultra hit. Right now, this Protoss army is looking quite scary. Rogue is maxed out. A lot of it's Lings and Roaches, though, which might have trouble against the splash damage here. He's just forcing out a Storm or two, telling MaxPax to be a little bit careful about going on to creep. But I like the pressure that MaxPax is exerting here as he gets his 5th base down as well.
Okay, so the question is, can MaxPax actually break any of these positions? He's using the Zealots to basically, destabilize the Zerg and forcing the Zerg to send some stuff back there to deal with that. He's going to attack it now. Ooh, man, talk about a close blink there. I thought for a second he got Timmy 2 screened there and wasn't even going to blink away in time, but last second blinks. Carrier tech's behind this, by the way. So as supply gets shaved down here, it's going to be refilled with carrier tech.
Yeah, and I love that Rogue's going for a Neural as well. We're going to be able to take control of some of those expensive units. Huge storms on these Banelings. They do so get through. Some of them will connect there. There's some High Templars alive on very low hit points. But meanwhile, this base is getting absolutely ransacked. MaxPax is going to keep pushing the issue here. Rogue having to go through all these storms. If he could get those chunk of High Templars, get some good connections, that could be huge. There's nothing here at this base right now, though. MaxPax has a decision to make. Is he going to keep going, or will he send something home here?
Yeah, I mean, right now, it seems like there's a little bit more damage actually being dealt to MaxPax, weirdly enough. Like, Rogue's basically holding off the army. He didn't lose that hatchery. The carriers are coming, so that's scary. Now, the Nexus was also saved here, but 23 probes killed is quite a bit when you consider what's been going on here. We're going to go up to the Tier 2 Spire. Why am I Greater Spire?
Greater Spire, yeah.
Sorry. So it was like 17 years later. I forgot what that building was called.
That's okay. I called the Templar Archives the Tempest Archives last week.
He's going to make the lair for the Spire here. But, I think Rogue pretty deftly defended all of these different attacks. He's going to be able to take this Nexus out, and I think he's going to be able to hit this 12 o'clock spot. Nicely done. Gets in and gets right back out.
The Adrenal Lings chew through that building so quickly, and Rogue is all over the map right now. I'm really impressed with how well he's recovered in this game after losing all those drones. We see the Corruptors on the way as well to deal with the carriers eventually. This Warp Prism is always an X factor. You could always have a big warp in the main that does a ton of damage, that kind of thing. We'll have to keep an eye on that as it sharks around the edge of the map.
So the problem, even though carriers I think are just god tier in mass against Zerg, and it's really hard for the Zerg to get a direct solution against them, they are slow. Okay, yeah. Nice. Just going to two-shot down that Warp Prism, so this is going to be cleaned up very easily. The problem with carriers, though, is it's a little bit like the Broodlord Infestor dilemma, where it's like, well, it's hard to fight it, but they do this, right? They just run around. And, Protoss do have recall. They don't have it available here. But the problem is recall is also a very finite resource. Like, once you use their recall, like, they can't just recall all over again. So, sure. From here, I think the game plan for Rogue is going to be to try to continue to grow and keep the Protoss basically pinned back here, while eventually having to deal with the inevitability of fighting the carriers.
Yeah, I really like the army comp of Rogue as well. Ultralis Corruptor is so much easier to play into Skytoss against with some High Templar on the ground than go for something complicated like Lurkers, Vipers. Because basically you send the Ultras in, when they have all their armor upgrades, they take very little damage to the carriers. The only thing that hurts them basically is Immortals, right? And you click those onto the High Templar, you A-move them in, they'll kill the High Templar. Suddenly there's no Storms to deal with the Corruptors, and your Corruptors can go in and start to work on those carriers. So this is kind of like a simple way to play the Zerg late game compared to that Lurker, Hydra, Viper, you know, all the spellcasters Infestor style. We have 7 Drop Lords on the way here as well, and these empty ones flying into the Protoss main right now.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what this is about. Is a bait? I mean,
I think it's a bait. I think that's the whole idea. Is you just see that on the mini map and you immediately send stuff back, and then of course Rogue runs right in here, and it looks like he's decimating everything on the ground. Does he have enough to actually win the fight in the air? I don't know. I see no more Corruptors, right?
Yeah, all the Corruptors are dead. There's Ultralisk and some Zerg units on the ground, but he has no more anti-air right now. Going to be forced to retreat. And I thought that was looking scary for MaxPax for a moment, but he's defended that so well.
Well, it's weird because, like, yeah, we see like the feint. There's like I think it was like way back in Brutal, like I think it was called Heaton's Overlord feint. It was like the first time that they ever recorded someone basically just having drop Overlords sent in just to try to get them to run back. So he like pulled that move off, and then it didn't really do anything, right? He just kind of lost his army, and then a counterpoke from MaxPax. He takes that out.
He tried to recall there, but it just didn't go off. That Nexus will actually fall. MaxPax knocked down to 4 bases now.
Yeah. He's going to surround that Immortal. I guess what we got to watch for now is like the bases that do have minerals, how long can he keep them? It's going to be harder for Protoss to try to expand and have big positions here on the map. And even though we saw that poke out there from MaxPax, it's hard to get back across the map and do it again and again and again.
Yeah, whenever you move out, there's going to be Zerglings running into your mineral lines, killing your Nexuses. These are +3 Zerglings with Adrenal. They will take down buildings so quickly. He does still have those Dropper Lords there, if he does decide he wants to put them to use. Or he could just send them in as another bait when he attacks eventually, I'm not sure. But right now he's just trying to remax, get his supply back up. He does have a decent base count, but he's got to hold on to these outer ones here. As these Lings go in looking for damage, not going to find it there. Rogue being so active with his units.
Okay, now Rogue should back up here. That is just a wall of damage coming out. I love the counterattacks. We're going to get another poke out here. He takes that out, and he's going to relocate. Storms are going to do so much damage over here. The Corruptors are spreading out. It looks like, there's 4 carriers here total, and then already the last Corruptor is picked off. Now, it's one of these funny moments where, like, the ground fight was won by the Zerg, the air fight was won by the Protoss, but again, these are not fast units, so I think this is going to be a forced recall. And how far can Rogue go with this? I mean, we know he's making more Corruptors. Void Rays are coming into play now, and I think the plan for MaxPax is to maybe just try to force win with the Sky?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like you say, not enough Corruptors in that fight. I think Recall's on cooldown. So, MaxPax is just going to lose these bases. His army is slower. Does go to work on this hatchery, and I think eventually Rogue will get enough Corruptors to take a straight-on fight and win versus the air.
Yeah.
But will it be in time here?
Yeah, I mean, every Corruptor that's shot down is a pretty big deal because basically the saving grace for MaxPax is going to be that he just has so much damage to air. And, Zerg, a lot of times they're anti-air. When it comes air to air, it's very one-dimensional. Like, that's what the Corruptor is. It's what it does. And you just have to have a certain number, right? So let's not completely count MaxPax out until we see this final fight go down, because neither side is really mining. If you look at the minerals, like MaxPax's minerals literally aren't moving, and Rogues are barely coming in.
Yeah, the eco is just trickling in right now. It's going to be very hard to get enough Corruptors to fight that many carriers, but he has this huge ground army that can base trace so well as they're going to kill buildings really quick. I think as MaxPax now, I think now you have recall on cooldown again. You can be a little bit aggressive here and then go back to save a base. We'll catch some transferring drones there. That's very nice. And this army's getting pretty scary. There's no more ground with this, by the way. This is just an air army now.
Yeah, so I think he needs to come in here and poke out another base or two before he recalls. I think you're basically willing to sacrifice a certain amount. I think he should go for the main and the tech there and then go back home.
Yeah, it's a difficult decision. Do you take out the tech, or do you take out his one really mining base, the top 2 on the left, his kind of fresher bases? Lots of decisions here for MaxPax to make. All the probes and workers have fallen here, 30 and 25 apiece. Very low econ game here. Okay, and now we see the recall come in.
Now, these Corruptors need to retreat immediately, and it looks like one is not going to get away. And this is the problem, right? Like, MaxPax doesn't really care about resources. Only 3 more Corruptors are coming out. Now, if MaxPax can just navigate this across, and maybe, I don't know if you want to leave, like, 2 Void Rays back there? You know what I'm saying? You want to have enough that, like, Ultras alone can't fight, and the Corruptors have to be separated. The Void Rays are faster now with the upgrade, so, like, it's a totally different game, right?
Yeah.
They're actually able to chase the Corruptors now in a situation where they could not before.
And Void Rays are so good against Corruptors, dude. You need so many Corruptors to beat Void Rays and Carriers. I'm just not sure Rogue's going to be able to make enough here, even though he does have the supply lead. Like, you're going to need a lot of Corruptors here.
I think that actually MaxPax can win this.
It's very up in the air right now. The army's actually split. Like you said, he left those Void Rays at home. Okay, the Cloak going down here. There's no Overseer with those Corruptors. More probes falling as well as the Protoss base.
How many Overseers are in this game, actually?
I'm not sure. There's 2 at the front, but none at home.
Yeah, so, okay, yeah. For some reason, it hadn't occurred to me that you could use that to cloak, too. I was so caught up with how many Void Rays are there. I'm like, yeah, actually, cloak's a whole other problem as well. Okay, so, obviously, we all know the losing conditions are when you lose that final building, right?
Right.
Targeting down to the Corruptors. Trading some blows here. Actually, kind of poorly done here as he had the damage split there on 2 different Void Rays. So MaxPax is going to go back.
Is Rogue just going to win a base race here? It looks like MaxPax is frantically trying to get back, but there's no Nexus. There's no more recall, so these air units are taking the long way here.
Dude, he's going to win.
He's going to win. These meta units
so
just killing the bases too quick.
Yeah. The army can't be killed from MaxPax, but it doesn't matter because he's not going to have any more structures here. Now, he's being revealed on the map here, and it's a small amount of buildings down here. Oh, God. He really should, like, kind of move these through a little bit, try to get a better spread on the ground.
Ooh, I'm not sure if he can fight this with the Corruptors.
He's gonna go back over here.
But he might just kill the buildings.
Is that the last pylon?
Is there anything on the map? There's nothing on the map.
Whoa. That was crazy. That was so crazy.
That was insane, dude.
It was not an easy one to follow either.
No.
Like there was a lot. You don't have games like that very often. That was so cool. So MaxPax basically has something that can't really be defeated. There's no way to increment out enough Corruptors to actually fight that. But like we were saying earlier, it's not a very nimble army. Right. It's hard to go back and forth. You've got recalls. Sure, you can get faster Void Rays, but not as fast as Lings and Ultras can counterattack. And even though the economy was basically broken for Rogue, right? I mean, he had like a couple drones mining minerals. He was making like 1 or 2 Corruptors at a time.
Yeah, not many at all.
Yeah, he did not have enough material as far as structures to last the counterattacks. And so, Rogue wins by the way the game's designed, right? You kill the last building.
Yeah, it was such an interesting game. Like, kind of 2 fights going on at once. The air-to-air fight, the ground fight as well. Plus, they're both base trading, and mobility becomes a big thing. Very difficult game to kind of navigate your way through, know when you should be attacking, when you should be defending. I guess for Rogue, you're going to attack whenever the Protoss moves out, right?
Right.
But as MaxPax, you have to make that decision. When do I move out? Because Rogue's already mining 2 bases on the side of the map. So if I just do nothing, he's just going to outmine me, get enough Corruptors eventually, and then kill my air. So you have to do something, but it's very hard to pull the trigger because Rogue comes in with those backstabs so quickly.
Guys, go to the Patreon. It's patreon.com /ReviveSC2. Consider supporting us. Sign up. And whatever tier makes sense. And if you're not in a financial position to sign up, you can always just join the Patreon for free. We'll get your email. We can notify you there. Guys, this has been an incredible start here for Group B here. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue on. See you in a sec. What's up, guys? This is Tasteless, and I am here to show you the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game. This is from Archon Studio. They reached out to us right when we started the RSL, and I gotta say, they've been an incredible sponsor. They have made an insane tabletop game here that I am super excited to show you guys. If you're a fan of StarCraft, you're gonna love this. But first, we're gonna start
with Zeratul. We're going to start with the first item they ever sent us here. And right off the bat, I got to say, I mean, it looks exactly like Zeratul from the cutscenes in the actual game. I mean, to the T. Zeratul is a Dark Templar, if you've been living under a rock your whole life. I personally am a fan of Zeratul. I am a scumbag DT rusher myself, so I think this is a perfect first item for me. So we're gonna do an unboxing now. It is containing only 3 items total. So we've got the 2 plastic parts, the pamphlet that it comes with, and then inside the pamphlet are 3 pages of instructions. So honestly, I mean, I look at this is simpler than I thought. I've always found tabletop games to be a little bit intimidating, but when you look at it, it's interesting to see that the entire figurine is actually assembled out of just the pieces in these 2 parts. Part of unlocking the joy of a tabletop set is actually getting to sit down and assemble and paint it and actually create the thing itself. I have never built a miniature before, so what we're gonna do is Ziggy, our producer, is gonna help me as we assemble this Zeratul figurine. Then we're gonna paint it, and we will have our very first StarCraft miniature made. Again, this is just one figurine in the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game. So we have a lot more figurines coming here, but we're gonna start with Zeratul. We're gonna get this painted, built out, and see how it looks.
Welcome back, everybody. We are going to be going into the second match of the day. I've swapped out here with Tasteless. We've kicked him off the desk. And I have joined Surgeon. A crazy game that we just watched, by the way. A kind of unexpected ending with that base trade and everything. That was pretty crazy.
That game was completely wild. I was just saying after the game, that's one of those things that I could try and go home and replicate. And it 100% wouldn't work.
Yeah.
I would just be running into Protoss Sky units everywhere, but Rogue able to use his, ground army of the Zerg and the mobility to circumvent the scary Protoss Sky Force and just base trade his way to a win. Absolutely insane, man.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy to see. And something else pretty crazy that's going to be coming up here as well is Clem versus Bunny. And fun fact, Clem is going to be playing Protoss. So we're going to be getting a PVT actually today. So no TVT action, if you were maybe expecting that. Clem has been enjoying playing Protoss against some of these Terran players. And actually he's played against Bunny specifically with Protoss an incredible amount of times in the last couple, many times they played last year, and Bunny has not beaten him once.
Not once?
Not when he's playing Protoss. Actually, he's only beaten him like twice ever, and when it was TVT, like way many years ago. But yeah, ever since he started playing Protoss against Bunny, Bunny cannot beat Clem.
That's pretty funny. I mean, at this point, we all know that Clem's Protoss is very, very, very good. It's not like a surprise thing. It's not a meme thing. He plays Protoss seriously in tournaments against Terrans. And for me, when I think about the kind of distinguishing features of his Protoss, I think about the micro, like especially with Colossus and things like that. Sometimes I watch a fight and I think his Colossus got 5 more shots off than any other Protosses would. He's so good at kiting back with those. So I'm really looking forward to seeing it again.
Yeah, we're going to be starting off with Throne of the Dunes as our first map. Let's get into it. It's going to be Clem versus Bunny.
I cannot wait. Here we go, guys. In the bottom left, the blue Protoss, it is Clem. And in the top right, the red Terran, it is Bunny.
Yeah, I was actually a little shocked when I looked at the illegal act just before this, seeing just those results that, yeah, Clem has been picking Protoss quite a lot against Bunny lately. He hasn't played against him this year just yet. Actually, all of those results are from the second half of last year or so. So he hasn't played against him this year yet, but still, Bunny has not found a victory in a series against Clem. He's taken games, of course, but there are also a lot of 2-0s and stuff in there too. So it is a bit brutal. So we'll see if Bunny can maybe force a little bit of an upset today. As Clem's Protoss, like you said, is no joke. It is extremely good. He has hit like 7K on ladder with it or whatever. So it's like he knows how to play this race. It's absolutely crazy. Clem is just one of those gods of gaming, it seems like. He's just good at this game no matter what he does, and we'll hopefully see that today too.
It's kind of infuriating how good he is with 2 races, and
yeah,
here we are trying to play 1 race. But yeah, he is a gamer god, dude. Clem is the man. And I'm looking at the maps this series. Very interesting maps. We have 2 of the new maps coming in this best of 3. So we might have a set that doesn't have any of the previous maps in if it's a 2-0 either way.
What was the second map?
Oh my god, Taito Citadel?
Oh no, that's one of the ladder maps. It's not the...
That wasn't in last season.
Sure,
though.
okay, sure.
Sorry,
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
My bad, okay, good.
One of the new maps to this season of RSL. Right. Yeah, it is one of the ladder maps.
Yeah. This one was voted in by the Patreon,
yes.
Throne of the Dunes, so that's what I thought you were talking about. But yeah, honestly a cool map, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
I just kind of like this map. It's really solid. I think it's cool. The base layout is very solid, and it seems like the pros also seem to think that way, because it's getting picked pretty often so far in this group stage. Sometimes the Patreon voted maps kind of they sit aside for a little bit because the pros are so scared they don't want to pick the new maps that they've never seen before. But
some of them are wild, like Evil Heart and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, that's also true. Yeah, we did get kind of some pretty crazy maps voted in last year, but this time starting off with a little more interesting, or sorry, not interesting, but more solid maps, some standard ones. And it's going to be a Twilight opener as well coming out from Clem with a Sentry follow-up too, so a bit standard coming out of him as well.
Yeah, he'll be able to hallucinate a Phoenix, send it over to the Terran side of the map, see what he is up to here in the mid-game. We do see it's going to be Hellions on the way, so he's going to be able to try and get those into a mineral line, get some economic damage done to Clem, slow him down in the mid-game.
Yeah, I wonder how many he's going to actually make. I mean, since he's going for the reactor, it's probably going to be like 4 or maybe even 6 Hellions. You could go crazy and go up to 8 if you want to. Oh, actually, he's going to go into that Widowmine switch. I like that, actually. Yeah, that's actually quite nice. So he's going to have the 2 Hellions. You can see he's splitting them around to try and check to see if there's any proxies or any weird things going on, and then might send them across to get some more scouting. And then he goes right into the Widowmine. So you still have a lot of Widowmines with this build to go for a medevac drop as well. So it's a nice little timed out build. This is a pretty solid one to go for as a Terran player. So a good build to copy if you want to, own some Protosses on ladder.
Absolutely. And Clem is one of the top Terrans as well. He knows that timing. He says, yep, your next 2 units are coming out right now. Let me park this Phoenix here and see where they are. Oh, it's a double Widowmine opening. Cool. After Hellions. That Hellion will actually get 1 probe, which is trying to make the 3rd base there. That's very nice for Clem. But here comes the drop, Gemini.
Yeah, that medevac's going to be going across, but it will meet... Oh, no, sorry, that was the Hellion. I thought that was a hallucinated Phoenix coming across on the minimap. So it will not see anything just yet, Clem, that is. So we'll see if he's prepared, but we should know that this is coming. He saw the Widowmines. There's no reason to make Widowmines without dropping them in this matchup. It would be totally useless. So he does have his Stalkers positioned in between his 2 bases. You can see they're on the minimap now coming into the main base. He's trying to bait that medevac in as far as possible to see if he can catch Bunny by surprise, but luckily Bunny with some nice reaction times will just be able to send that out and not lose it. So no damage, but the medevac is still there, and it could always come back at any time. So Clem's got to be paying very close attention to know when that's going to find its way back in.
Yeah, and Bunny's actually going for a Raven with Interference Matrix here.
Yeah, that's
super cool.
Interesting.
Yeah, double Forge on the way for Clem as well.
That's also weird.
Playing nice and greedy here.
Yeah, this is not really what you would normally see in this matchup. I think what Bunny is expecting is that Clem is going to be going for Colossus really quickly, because I feel like he does like to do that in general versus Terrans. And so he's trying to maybe preempt that a little bit, but he hasn't really seen anything. He's also hiding it on the backside as well to make sure it can't be found or anything. And then but Clem is not even going for Colossus right now. He's going for a 1-1 very fast, which is not what you normally see in this matchup. He's going for the charge. And then he's going to go for a later Robo after that. So I would imagine he's going to eventually go for Colossus. We'll see how he wants to play this out. But the double Forge super fast is very interesting.
Yeah, we're looking at 2 kind of funky builds here, and how they're going to clash into each other will be very interesting. Bunny's certainly going to be the aggressor here. Clem going to try and hold on to this 3rd base. The Stalkers see this army move out. They chip away a couple Marines. If you could damage this tank, that would be nice. Actually, already going to siege. That's very nice. Slow down this push as much as possible.
Yeah, he is still waiting for the couple medevacs to come out, so I don't think he wants to move out too quickly just yet. Oh, I love that. Getting those 2 Widowmines placed in a very weird position. Maybe we'll catch some of the Stalkers or units that are trying to meet the army on the map. A little unexpected move there from Bunny, perhaps. The rest of the army will start to go through the bottom side, though, so those Widowmines won't really do too much, it seems like, as Clem will just be going primarily...
He's going towards them.
Oh.
Is he watching?
Oh, he got 1 Stalker. Whoa. Oh, he's going to get the second one. Oh, no, he's not. Wow, that's the sickest move of all time, guys. I really hyped that up for you guys.
That was so smart, though. Like,
it was a cool move. It would have been cool if like a couple of Zealots were just running across with the rest of the sentries or something and they got hit, but not the case. It is going to be a mainly ground army gateway defense. Let's see if Clem can pull this off.
And here we go. Here's the engage. The Zealots run in, take some big mine shots there. The tank under fire, but still alive. Not enough DPS from the Stalkers to take it down. And this Terran army is huge right now, Gemini.
Holy, that tank surviving is massive, and it's going to allow the Bio to just leap on forward, knowing it's got that backbone back there as well. And the Immortals really have nothing to stand for. The Zealots trying to get on top of some of these units, but there's still Widowmines, which also are getting unburrowed mid-fight to keep those charges up for when they're going to find their biggest mark. And honestly, Bunny is kind of just walking over this position right now. The Pylon also getting killed off. Clem will tap out. GG. A very quick game, Bunny, with a decisive timing.
Well, you were saying Bunny's never being Clem's Protoss. We might be making history here today, Gemini, because
we love making
was...
history in this tournament, man.
We do. All kinds of wild stuff happening. That was very decisive.
Yeah.
Just like a committed 2-base push, going to make it happen. Got the interference matrix. If there are some tech units coming out, like the Colossus, in the end, didn't need it.
Could have used it on the Immortals if you wanted to, I guess.
I was thinking, is it worth it to do that or to throw down turrets? But
I think he wasn't sure. I think maybe he was expecting like a Colossus to eventually rally out, and then maybe you can throw it onto that.
Yeah.
Or maybe he just was total Giga Chad mode and just realized that he was like, no, I'm just winning the fight. It doesn't matter. Like, there's no reason I should lose right now. So maybe just didn't do it. But that's kind of showing the reason why we don't see the double Forge play as much versus Terran. It's quite... You get that big weakness in that kind of a moment where they're just going to go for that big tank push with the tank bio and whatever, and you don't have Colossus, you don't have Fast Storm, and so the gateway unit on the ground is sometimes just not enough. You just don't end up having enough units to be able to defend. And I mean, Bunny just abusing that extremely well, coming up with a very quick game 1 win.
Yeah, if it was a 3cc, like a fast 3cc macro kind of build, the double Forge can pay off in the long run, but in these short games, you just have the time and you don't get your tech units out quick enough. And that tank surviving was kind of one of the key moments in that game, I think. Like, if that goes down instantly, if there's enough Stalkers, you know, suddenly the push can look different. But that's how it went. Bunny able to close out game number 1. We move on to... Is this Taito? Is that how we're saying this?
I've been saying Taito.
Taito?
In my head. I've never said this word out loud, but in my head.
Taito?
Taito Citadel, yeah.
Taito Citadel.
Yeah.
That's what we'll go with.
Yeah, it's... What were we doing last season
with
the
tokamak, dude?
What'd you
Tomahawk.
Tomahawk?
Yeah, don't bring it up.
I was going to say, this is no Tomahawk today, but it is, yeah, Taito Citadel.
Yeah.
Some of these map makers, man, we've talked about this before. They really do come up with some wild names so that I don't even know what these words are, where they come from. But
I feel like they get the dictionary out and just scroll, or get the thesaurus out and look for like city or old or ruined.
It's like the pro gamers when they search for their nicknames or whatever. They just open the dictionary, point to something. It's like, yep, that's okay. My whole life is that now.
Yeah. Bunny, for example, that's a very random name, but
yeah, I mean, Trap did that. He literally said that he did that. Like,
really?
I even asked him about it. It's like, how'd you come up with the name Trap? And he literally told me the dictionary thing. Like,
that's so
people
funny.
like always kind of joked about that, and it was maybe true for some extent, but like, yeah, that one is actually that's actually an actual example. It's so funny.
All right, we do see this probe down here being a nuisance. 2 STVs sent to try and damage this as much as possible. Try and get this base down nice and quick. We do see it's a 1 gas open from the Terran. So he does want to get that CC down on the base ASAP.
Yeah, I actually can't remember last game. Did you notice if... Oh, that's a... Oh, never mind. Sorry. I was looking at the production tab wrong. I thought that was a 3cc. Did you notice...
That would be crazy
That
at
would
this
be
point.
crazy. Did you notice last game if it was a 2-gas opener from Brunny or not? I wasn't paying attention.
We were talking about the map, so
that's okay.
I kind of glossed over it.
That's no problem. Yeah, I'm curious to see if Bunny will go for any 2-gas this series, just because that's become so popular in PvT lately to go for the fast 2-gas. You go for the Reaper Hellion push, and then you go into a later Widowmine drop or something like that. It's become very, very popular. So if he goes every game without doing that, I'd be a little surprised, to be honest. I'm expecting to see that at least once. But for now, we're going to be getting that 1-gas and then going into the factory for that single Hellion this time, not for the reactored Hellion into double Widowmine. He'll just be going for the 1 Hellion to, again, just go for that little bit of scouting around the map a little bit, and then go for what will likely be a Widowmine drop follow-up, or just straight into a Raven and tanks and stuff like that.
I love the way the Marine was stood in that hexagon for so long. Something about that was just aesthetically pleasing. Actually going to die before the bunker finishes here. So he's going to have to wait for this Hellion to come down. The production on the CC is halted for a while. You don't want to lose this SCV as well. Okay, we'll go down.
Oh, no, he didn't! He saved it in the bunker! That's actually sick. Wow, I didn't think
Wait,
that
wasn't that the other one?
I don't think so.
Isn't that the one that made... Oh,
yeah, he only lost 1.
Oh, dude.
No, he only lost 1. That was the bunker one. He saved that from the... I can't believe that range of the bunker.
That was insane.
I did not think you could actually load in the bunker from that far away. That was wild. Okay. Well, anyways, a very smooth move from Bunny to keep that 1 little SCV alive, but still a couple more units streamlining across the map for Clem. He's going to be a little bit aggressive with these first few gateway units while he's going for his Blink and Robo back at home. We'll see if he wants to try and dive behind the bunker, go behind the mineral line, as you sometimes do see that from some Protoss players.
Yeah, I kind of like this from Clem. I feel like these early game kind of micro exchanges are something he definitely shines in. There's a lot of units here. This Hellion going to try and pick off this Adept, but will not be able to get it. That's so painful.
That's crazy that he actually gets that and keeps the Adept perfectly alive as well. That's so sick. Bunny's going to send out that Raven, so he did go for the Raven first. No medevac coming out of the starport just yet, so that's going to go for some auto turret harass in the mineral line of Clem. We'll see if he's going to be prepared for that. Of course, bringing those stalkers back, as the timing for anything with those is basically passed, so you want to just bring those back home. As the Warp Prism also is going to be coming out straight from the Robo, so it's going to be some follow-up aggression with some Blink Stalkers. I believe it's only 3 gates. There could be a 4th. I wasn't paying too much attention, but for now we do have this Raven coming on in. But oh my god, the Stalkers are already in position. Thankfully, Blink is not finished just yet, so that will stay alive by the skin of its teeth. But still, nothing found for Bunny so far.
Dude, I mean, you got to babysit that Raven.
Yeah, man.
That's such an expensive unit, and, you know, it can damage the Protoss player for so long, dropping those auto turrets. Now it's not going to be able to do that. And, I mean, you're going to send it home. You don't have interference matrix with it. It's not going to be as useful. Kind of a lost, you know, cost there for Bunny. At least he didn't lose it. He can repair it and use it later. Here comes Clem, though, moving across the map.
Can he actually repair it, though? Because he's just going to drop the Stalkers, meets it right when it gets to the other base, and just one-taps it away. The alley-oop from earlier. And now we do have plenty of Stalkers ready to blink on in right on top of that tank if they want to go for it. Focuses down the Marauder first and then just decides to micro them out, as they do have that secondary blink with the Prism. But since the tank is so far away from the natural, you could very easily split these up and get a nice blink on them. The building positioning is very nice for Bunny, though, so it's going to make it a little bit difficult to do that. So it looks like Clem's just going to just settle for going for some drop harass with some of the Stalkers and then just transition back at home. Isn't going to go for the crazy YOLO blinks.
Yeah, Clem very much in control there for a moment, keeping the Terran in his base. He is, you know, mounting up to this 2-base push he'll be going for. Clem has his 3rd back home. He's taken into Colossus here. He's not all in or anything like that. And Bunny's going to be delayed by this Stalker force, and he does need to get across the map once that, you know, combat shield finishes, once the concussive shells finish. He has to get some damage here, so Clem doing a good job annoying him as much as possible.
Yeah, it's going to be the Colossus on the backside for Clem to try and defend this push. And honestly, this is still a very scary attack coming out from Bunny. Even though Clem didn't really do a crazy amount of damage with the actual attack, he's doing great with his Blink Micro, by the way, and the pickup Micro. It's actually crazy, but the units are very low, and he's not really doing an insane amount of damage. Oh, and it's an SCV pull as well coming out from Bunny. So putting all of the eggs in this basket, Bunny wants to punch Clem out of this series.
One tank going to go down instantly, though. He sees the SCV, it still commits to take out that second tank. Now he will fall back. The Colossus here, they can absolutely shred these SCVs if they're able to hit them. Thermal Lance, not even halfway done, is not going to be a factor in this fight in the beginning. Here come the Zealot Warpins on this side. There's a lot of Protoss here coming in. All the SCVs full, 15 down already. He's going to target this pylon, which stops the production of the Colossus. And he's jumping on the army. This Colossus being microed as best he can. It looks like he might just be holding this off. There's still some Terran left, though.
There's very little Protoss on the ground, but what is there is really in great hands because Clem is microing this to perfection. The Colossus able to get lifted back, trying to stay alive until Thermal Lance can stay alive to get completed here. That battery also helping just a little bit. The micro continuing, and it looks like Clem will be able to defend with some excellent micro on that push. I really thought for a second that Bunny was actually going to just steamroll through once he killed that pylon and tried to get on top of that Colossus, but the pickup micro to keep it and actually put it back towards the natural, and then he blinks back to it as well. So that way, it's not like you can just continue to focus down and chase it. You'd have to go through all the Stalkers as well. So really just nice positioning overall, knowing where to go with those units as Clem, and he's able to make a nice defense.
I think this game really suited Clem, like a bit of a micro fest from the beginning with the Adept moving across the map all the way to the late game, picking up the Colossus, blinking the Stalkers everywhere. This seemed like a lot more his tempo than Double Forge, that kind of thing. Not that he can play a greedy style, obviously, we've watched his Terran, but I mean, not that he only plays greedy, but he can do everything is what I'm trying to say. But I feel like these tempo styles where he's really quick in your face, harassing you on multiple fronts is where he kind of shines. And then at the end, they're just a very solid defense.
Yeah, honestly, when you can just, when you have the micro of Clem, why not use it? And yeah, I feel like that's the, like you were saying, that's just the more pinnacle Clem style Protoss versus Terran that we're normally used to seeing. So yeah, honestly, great for him. He's going to go 1-1 in the series for now as we load on up into our third game of this series. It's going to be on 10K feet. Let's see who can win out this series.
Here we go. One of the more well-known maps here. 10,000 feet will be the decider. 1-1 between our players right now. In the top left is the red Terran Bunny, and in the bottom right, the blue Protoss Clem.
Yeah, this map is getting picked so often in
Right.
in these series. I feel like every single, it was like that last week where like every single series it was starting with 10K feet almost every single time. I'm not sure if this actually been picked literally every series, but very close to it. As we do have a proxy barracks going to get thrown down by Bunny, actually. Not a actually committed one. It's more like a fake proxy where you are, as the Protoss player, going to be coming into the main base, seeing a lack of a barracks, and hopefully, well, the Protoss will not hopefully be panicking, but from the Terran's perspective, that you hope that they're going to panic and overreact, basically, but you're just making a Reaper still kind of close to your home anyway, so that's the idea from Bunny. As Mappa was actually pointing out as well, there's a chance that he could actually see that from the high ground. So if he goes all the way to the edge, he might be able to see that. We'll see if Clem wants to actually go all the way down there.
Yeah, you will see it's a double gas open here as well, which kind of limits the amount of builds it could be. Bunny will be able to get that factory nice and quickly due to that extra income. Right now, though, he just circles around the main. He doesn't go all the way to the edge, so he doesn't see the barracks right now. We can see there's just one Reaper being made. But as Clem, you don't know exactly what you're up against here.
Yeah, it's very confusing going against this, especially when you see the double gas. This could be a very committed 1-1-1 proxy, and that it's extremely difficult to hold those if you don't actually know they're coming. If you don't have the right response, you will just get steamrolled by them. It's very not likely to be a proxy marauder because that's usually with one gas. So honestly, Clem is probably thinking that it's more on the 1-1-1 side. You can see his probes frantically going on the right and the left. He's even delayed his Nexus, going for the Zealot and Stalker before a Nexus as well. He's fully committing to defending what looks like a proxy 1-1-1 all-in. The probe also will die, so he's not actually going to see the buildings on the left-hand side. But I feel like once Clem has scouted enough, he's going to start to put the pieces together and realize that these buildings are not actually close to my side of the map because the only thing I haven't scouted is all the way over by Bunny. So we'll see if Bunny wants to actually all in with this or if he's just going to continue with the mind game or not.
Yeah, Clem actually had 3 probes and a Zealot out on the map looking for buildings. Yeah. That's some commitment to scouting there, right there. That's beautiful. But like you said, he didn't find the buildings. He does wait with the Stalker on the high ground to get a couple extra shots on this Reaper here. Maybe just the one extra shot there. And he's going to be the one being aggressive right here. Going to say to Bunny, hey, show me what you got. Like, I've got Stalkers kind of knocking on your door. You have to show me something here. Not going to go all the way, though. Still feeling very hesitant here.
Yeah, for a second, Bunny was actually starting to make his CC on the low ground, but then when he saw the units coming across, he canceled it and then built it back on the high ground. So for a moment there, it would have looked like Clem might have been able to cancel that and actually get the full scout as to what's going on. But for now, it still looks like he's getting all in. He hasn't seen anything that looks like there's going to be any follow-up macro or anything. Now we have the couple Reapers and Hellions making their way across the map. Will kill that Zealot. Only a couple Stalkers to defend, so there's a possibility that Bunny could just YOLO up the ramp, but doesn't feel brave enough to try.
I was really expecting it there for a moment. It's one of those judgment calls. It is one of those things that can decide the game in a moment, whether you go or not. And like you said, Clem didn't see this CC yet. He doesn't know what's going on here. This is very difficult to play from the Protoss side. Like, should you be throwing down all your static defense and frantically defending all in? Or are you actually in a macro game, but you didn't realize?
Yeah, this becomes very difficult in certain scenarios, and I think Clem has already kind of put the pieces together, and he's taking a slight gamble to think that he's, well, obviously he scouts it, but before that even as well, he was kind of putting the gamble in place where he's just expecting it not to be the all-in, because he was getting all his Twilight, he's continuing probes and all that stuff, so he seems like he was fully aware of what was going on, but there's some times where you just don't know what's happening, and like you over-defend, you cut probes, you make a bunch of batteries, you're chronoing out units and whatever, and then they're just getting a CC, and you're just so far behind. So sometimes it can be a bit tricky, but this game, Clem able to put the pieces together early enough to not be super far behind, in fact, to not be behind at all, honestly. I feel like he's in a great position.
Yeah, very calm, kind of under pressure here. Like you said, he didn't overreact too much. We have one battery in the natural, nothing crazy. Once again, we see Bunny going for the interference matrix. Curious if he'll get to put that to use this game. It is going to be just the single forge from Clem. That's kind of the big difference compared to game 1. Won't be going for that double upgrade here. as Bunny will be making a push shortly. Blink are going to be finishing up soon, so Clem will be able to use his Stalkers in a mobile way, try to track down some units on the map. And yeah, Stim starts up for Bunny here.
Robo Bay, I should say, on 2 bases as well for Clem. So he's really just kind of sticking on 2 base. He's just trying to get as much tech out as possible. Doesn't want to spread himself too thin just yet by trying to go for a super fast 3rd base. Just really trying to make sure he has enough to defend what eventually looks like a push coming out from Bunny. Bunny is a very aggressive player. He's always wanting to go for these moves. A force field would have been great, but it maybe doesn't have the energy. So unfortunately, we'll just let those by. Still a couple Stalkers in the main base. So honestly, we're not going to get too much damage from Bunny onto the probe line. Only 3 workers, as the battery also helps to heal up. So eventually those Hellions and Reapers find their way in, but that's not the damage that you're looking for as Bunny.
Yeah, it didn't quite pay for itself there. Like you said, the shield battery kind of finished just in time. Clem now making his Colossus, already got the production on the way. Taking a kind of delayed 3rd here, like you said, getting the tech out first. Going to try and deal with this push, make sure he doesn't just die from 1 punch. Actually getting a good amount of damage on that tank. Very nice moves by Clem here right now.
Yeah, getting the tanks low is great. Even kills off that Marauder and blinks away, only losing 1 Stalker. Honestly, a pretty decent trade with that tank being so low as well. So it's going to allow Clem, if he wants later, to just blink right on those tanks and one-shot them much easier. And if the tanks are killed off in these pushes, a lot of the times the push does just fizzle out, and you don't really, you can't really go any further because the tanks are the linchpin of the whole idea. And it looks like even a couple SCVs got brought forward to be able to repair that. Realizing how important those tanks are, Bunny is going to continue to repair that and go for a further push.
Yeah, here we go. Bunny now stimming in. The forces this Protoss army to retreat. He does have the interferences matrices available to disable this Colossus if he chooses, and there it is. This Colossus is out of the fight. The tanks siege up. The SCV's there to repair those. This Marauder and Marine Ball starting to get some damage done. Clem's Colossus needs to come back online and needs to get a 2nd one as well.
Oh, the tanks actually being able to kill off the Robo, the battery being used to try and keep that alive, and the Chrono as well, trying to desperately get that 2nd Colossus out. And actually, that little bait forward was perfect. That was perfect by Clem. The tanks were not actually focus firing the Robo. They attacked the Zealots for a second. 1 more volley would have killed the Robo before the Colossus got out, but it actually allows the Colossus to be able to spawn. That's going to help the defense so much for Clem as the bunkers start to get set up as well. We need every unit, and Clem is starting to go for a counterattack to try and kill off the reinforcements.
I love this by Clem. He knows Bunny is entrenched at the front there. It's going to be so hard to break that in a full-on engagement. He says, okay, while you stream units across the map, I've got 4 or 5 Stalkers. It doesn't cost me too much, but I can pick off units 1 by 1, make you rally them at home before you send them. And there's the chance that there's a time where a lot of units are rallied at home, and that's when Clem could potentially pull the trigger at the front here.
Yeah, it's really a slow grind right now. Bunny doesn't want to go too far forward, just poking with a couple Marauders. Actually even taking a 3rd base back at home, realizing that this push is probably just going to be left for dead at some point, or maybe just want to go back home. A recall actually going to the left-hand side. What's going to be sent over here? It's actually just half the army, some of the Colossus and some of the other units. So trying to go for a much larger flank and surround to try and get this position dealt with. As Bunny's even going to move those couple tanks more far forward. We'll see if he can find anything done here with this attack.
Yeah, and Clem's out of time. He's got to go right now. The Zealots charge in, get on the bio as best they can. So many bunkers here, 4 bunkers full of units. Just like so many. More units coming in for the Terran. 3 Colossus standing strong though. None of these disabled right now. Getting some good splash damage, but more units going to the bunkers. A Viking shows up as well. 2 Vikings show up to deal with these Colossus, or to help out with the anti-air damage. This game's on a razor's edge right now, but Clem, I'm not sure if he has enough here.
Yeah, this is a really weird fight. Bunny actually decided to bring all of the reinforcements as well instead of just kind of sitting back at home to take the 3rd base. So he's just going to continue with this, and he's honestly going to be able to kill this 3rd base if he... Actually, yeah, it's already dead. Sorry. That is definitely killed off. A nice target as well with the Widow Mine, able to get some juicy Stalker shots. And honestly, the rest of this army is still pretty strong from Bunny. Clem can't really walk out right now as the first Colossus gets focused down. The 2nd one barely staying alive. We'll get to that. No, it won't get to the battery. The Vikings get the last shot just before the battery can heal it enough. And now Clem is sitting here with 16 army supply, and the rest of this bio from Bunny is untouched.
No Warp Prism in this game to save those Colossus. They go down, and with it, all of Clem's splash damage and potentially chance in this game. He's a 2-base Protoss against the 3-base Terran, guys. What can we say? The force fields go down. One last attempt here for Clem, but the sim comes in. All these sentries will fall. Eventually,
batteries are pretty good.
the rest of the Marauders didn't come around the force field, so things got a little bit awkward there. But Bunny's still in a very commanding position here in this game. Maybe you don't want to overextend here. Maybe you want to wait for more units. Land that third base. You can play it how you want. 10 sentries on the field right now. What is this army comp?
This is the moment where you have so much gas banked up, but you realize you never made a Templar archive, so you're just sitting here being like, well, okay, I guess I'm just going to make 50 sentries for some reason. And the force fields, I guess, were able to keep him alive for a little bit, but the DPS output is really not there for Clem's army. He will be able to send out a nice scout as well, and will be greeted with the unfortunate information that there is a third base about to land for Bunny. So it's not even like he's fully all in on 2 bases. So Bunny, honestly, doesn't really need to do anything at this point. I feel like he can just kind of sit, just kind of lurk around a little bit, make it look like he's going to be super aggressive, and he can just kind of build up back at home, because Clem is not going to be in a position to macro out of this game, and his tech is also going to be really strange, going in for a very late storm and sitting here with just a billion sentries.
Yeah, so many sentries, dude. Very interesting army comp here. One more order will go down. Clem looking to pick off whatever he can, but this army is so strong, and once you add Ghost to this eventually, after the storm is available, it feels like it's going to be very tough for Clem to get anything done. I mean, he has no Colossus, he has no splash damage. This is straight up bio against force fields right now. Bunny lifting these units over the force fields. Nice drops onto these high Templar. Going to force them to morph, even one going down. And here goes the rest of the Stalkers and the Sentries as well, kiting back as best they can. The one Archon does morph, that's something here. Here comes some more Zealots as well. Clem doing his best to hang in this game, Gemini.
Honestly, I feel like Bunny's being a little too over aggressive. Like, I don't really think he needs to make these kind of crazy plays. I mean, like dropping the medevacs, dropping the bio behind the army and stuff like that. A bit aggressive, but honestly, not the worst trade from Clem when you think about what we just witnessed, what those army compositions even were. Like, yeah, I feel like Bunny is trying to be ending the game a little too early here. I feel like it's totally fine just to kind of sit back, get those ghosts out, get a couple liberators, just kind of chill for a moment, realizing that Clem has been on the back foot. But yeah, I feel like Clem might have an opportunity. I mean, Storm is done.
That was
the
a big
Zealot
storm.
Harass is going to start. There's no way Clem actually brings us back,
No,
right?
there's no way, dude. Don't say it. Don't jinx it.
I don't know.
The EMP goes down on the Zealots. Bunny will clean this up eventually. Some SCVs do go down, though, and this is buying Clem some time. Here comes the bio, though. Simmons to the third base of Clem. He absolutely cannot let this die. One pylon goes down instantly, and there's some Archons morphing, but they are not in the fight. There's not enough Stalkers here right now. Does dodge that Widow Shot mine very nicely. That's going to fall, and Clem, I mean, there's just no way. You just can't win a game like this, Clem.
Yeah, honestly, I thought he had a couple more Templar back at home ready with Storm, so I thought he was actually just going to have so much to be able to defend against that initially and then maybe snowball it a little bit, but it looks like he actually had to put them into Archons, and everything is kind of starting to fall apart at the seams here. The Liberators coming on in, the Ghosts coming in, get a nice EMP on one of the Templar, and the other one is used to get a feedback on the Ghost as well, so no Storms whatsoever. The army supply is massive. Bunny, for the first time in his career, will take a series against Clem's Protoss.
Yeah, kind of a sigh of relief at the end there from Bunny. Like,
Yep.
it's always nerve-wracking when you're ahead the whole game and you think, should I just be able to end it right now, or
Yep.
do I need to go home? And then you try and be aggressive. Sometimes you get caught in two minds. But the Ghosts coming out there at the end were really the final piece of the puzzle for Bunny, rounding out his tech, being able to deal with the Archons and the High Templars, and he takes it home.
Yeah, he was just a little bit too far ahead, even with a little bit of a moment there of maybe some reckless play. Honestly, just he had the room to do it. It was just, you know, he could basically do anything at that point when you're seeing your opponent is... honestly, I don't blame him. Like, you see your opponent sitting there with 10 sentries, and you're just like, yeah, I mean, surely I can just go in and just kill this, right? Like,
Hey, it looked cool, man. I mean, you got to give him that. It was a cool move.
Absolutely. So, yeah, honestly, Bunny coming in with a pretty nice upset. I mean, we didn't expect him to be able to come out against Clem's Protoss. Clem's Protoss has been extremely strong ever since he's started doing it. So, great matchup there. And honestly, that sets up pretty interestingly as well for our winners match. Going to be Rogue versus Bunny. The two Protosses stuck out in the losers match later as well.
Yeah, very exciting. What is also exciting, guys, is tastelessthreads.com. Get your merch, get your gamer swag over there. You can get the brain raw or whatever it was called, I forgot. You can get
Mind
the hoodies,
games.
the mind games. Yeah, that one's still not making sense for me. But you get the hoodies, get your t-shirts. There's mugs on there. There's pins. What else is there? There's all kinds of stuff. And if you're on the Patreon, you do get a 20% discount as well.
Yes, please go ahead and check that out. It would be great. We're going to go to a short break before we get to our next match. Stick around, more RSL coming up.
Units as more ultras are in the production tab for Raynor. He's trying to get as many out as possible. As he kind of loses a few more units up on the top left, it would be great to keep those alive, but he will try to just kill off those cannons, kill off the bases as much as possible. As the drones on the bottom right are also getting killed, this is going to become a crazy low econ game yet again from both players.
Yeah, they're getting more and more compressed. The push is going to just keep going here from Classic. I think he wants to go as far as he possibly can and basically use the recall to then just go back home. And so there's going to be kind of a big reset here on the map overall. And so Raynor's going to come down now. Slow field setup, Storms blanketing this area.
Oh my god, the Ultra's actually doing a pretty decent amount of damage, but there's so much underneath the mothership as more Ultras trying to come into the fight. Archon's also coming in from the right-hand side, but the Ultras are not dying underneath. The Tempests are only on the air back behind this. Immortals coming in as well. As you can see, they are not able to actually do anything once all the rest of the units are killed off. Classic is losing everything. The Tempest unable to do the DPS, as I mentioned earlier as well. Once it's only those alive, there's nothing left to do it. And now the Tempests are trying to frantically do anything against some of the other bases as the Ultras run to the other side of Classic.
And this is the last base. Now, remember, Raynor's base at the center left quietly stayed there. Oh, he's going to leave, what, 2 Lings here to kill this off? So this base is mining. I think he should have had more than that to try to kill that off, but he's going to run back.
Oh, getting that Infestor's huge. There's not going to be too many more. There's actually almost no gas.
Hold on. So Raynor's minerals and gas are so low. In fact, he's getting gas at such a slow rate. I think that's the only mining geyser, and he didn't actually have this. I was going to say there's no reason he should have gas coming in that slow. So things like almost pause. It's like the map's almost frozen. He's going to try to regroup. Now, I think Classic literally can't move. And remember, Classic doesn't know that Raynor didn't get gas. Right? So he's probably thinking that there's a lot more threats that can be generated here. Can he actually just come in here and hit this? I'm not so sure. Let's see.
Yeah, this is a bit risky as he's only got a lot of Lings on the top side. They're going to dissuade some of those units, but yeah, you can see Raynor doesn't believe in this fight, has to pull back. Classic with enough units so far. He's even getting some more carriers behind this, knowing he needs at least some sort of DPS to deal with this late game army, and he's honestly feeling pretty strong right now with his army supply getting really high up there. Raynor only just now getting all that extra gas, and so it's going to be basically a bit more time. He's going to need more minutes to be able to actually get more high-tech units. He's trying to get one Infestor at a time, one Corruptor at a time, but Classic feels like he's really flourishing now in this late game.
Yeah, no, he just seems to be ballooning. There is a kind of cool play here from Raynor, which is to take the top left, which is, you know, no one's checking, right? So you might as well just try to pillage that. And even if you lose it, just take all the resources that were there so that if Classic retakes it later, it's not taken. He's even leaving spotter stuff out here to look like he's checking for his opponent to expand. But it's undeniable, I think Classic has a better army. So here's the problem for Classic is that if he tries to leave, obviously Raynor's going to counterattack. That's like kind of been the theme this whole game. But if Raynor's forced to fight the army, which obviously that's going to happen in a game of StarCraft, right? Then I think Raynor loses.
Yeah, you can really see that both players are very cautious right now. They don't know the exact game state. This has been a very back and forth kind of hectic game. It's hard to know what position you're in. There's such a lack of vision on the Protoss side. You can see right there. There's still actually a lot of creep coming out, and you can see he's trying to deny that right now, knowing that he needs to limit that vision and try to make it as difficult as possible for Raynor to take good positions on the map, because obviously you want that extra creep for the speed boost for those engages if you can as the Zerg player, and also just to know where the army is actually making its move. More Immortals getting put in the production tab as well to try and beef up this ground army to make sure the Ultras don't come into a factor, as Raynor even is trying to make drones again because he needs more income.
It's crazy how slow this game's gotten. I think Raynor's playing the expansion game right. He's got the gold minerals. Remember that, those mine out kind of fast. And I don't think that Classics even checked that at all. So he's going to try to come out here. I don't know if this is a committed attack. By the way, Raynor doesn't have anything ready to counterattack. Yeah, he doesn't know about that, by the way. Good check there by Mapu. So I think he was waiting for the counterattack to get baited. Nothing happened. Raynor's being very conservative right now. By the way, it's funny. We had a period where they were like both over 3K minerals and just a lot of gas. It's like, now it's like... Well, are we on? Welcome back, everybody. Close your eyes, guys. Ooh, ooh, ooh. This is the RSL. That was an insane series.
Yeah.
That was
that's not what I was expecting at all from both series as well, by the way.
So we have this TV set up like off camera over here, and we're going to eventually fix this. Right now, it's on the same delay as the stream. So like whoever's like not casting is watching basically something like, from the past as far as what's happening here. But the whole time I'm watching, I'm like, well, this is going to be done any second now. Like, I need to get up and get ready. And then eventually it got so close, I'm like, it's still going on. And then I had this moment where I went, did the best of three already start? Like, did I miss that because I'm over here and it's delayed? And I had to be like, no, that doesn't make any sense because I'm in the studio here. And I would know if that had happened. But I had a moment where I freaked out for a half a second.
I do that sometimes where I'm on like the subway where I know how many stops I need to get to, but then for a second I'm like, well, did I just miss my stop? Even though I know I'm 30 minutes until my stop.
Yeah. You spook yourself. You freak yourself out. So, I mean, we're going to go to the winners match here. Someone is going to advance out of Group B. This might be the best day of games yet.
Yeah, it's very cool. The fact that both games were also kind of an upset. Like, Rogue, we don't really expect maybe to beat MaxPax super consistently, just because MaxPax has been so good overall as a Protoss player in the last couple of years. And then Bunny, like we were saying, has never beaten Clem's Protoss until just today. So both of the underdogs, honestly, doing pretty good so far in this group.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy to see that Protosses are not going to be doing as well so far today. We'll see which one is going to be knocked out. MaxPax versus Clem. Obviously, that's going to be an exciting one. But coming up now is going to be Rogue versus Bunny.
Yeah, and this one should be interesting as well. I mean, both these players are very storied. They've played against each other plenty of times in the past, but nowadays it feels like these two players are... saying washed is a bit rude, but it feels like they are not at their peaks like they once were at some point.
Look, you play for a long time. You have your highs and you have your lows, right?
Yeah.
We get people that have played for a really long time, and it takes them years or even over a decade to finally get to where they are. I mean, if you go all the way back even into StarCraft 1, which is even older, there's been people that have been there the whole time who are just now finally finding their footing. But yeah, I think both of these guys historically definitely hit their high marks, right? Doesn't mean they can't come back and do better, but today both these guys are looking extremely strong.
Yeah, and this is Rogue's first time in the RSL as well.
Right.
He's actually a newcomer here, so technically, if he wins this whole thing, you could say he Royal Roaded
it. Ooh, man.
Look at that throwback term.
Yeah,
like
there's
that?
a great term, Royal Roader.
Are you being sarcastic? Do you hate that term? Is that one of is that one of your pet peeves, or do you actually think it's kind of cool?
I think sometimes terms like that are just kind of funny because they could be like, what would be his first? First time he came in, he won the whole thing. That's almost to me better than saying like a Royal Roader, which is then someone goes, what's a Royal Roader? Because I don't know your weird words, Is Royal Roader used in other tournaments of sports?
I don't know. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's
Ziggy just mouthed something out.
I don't know what he just said.
He looks like he's possessed.
OSL, you're saying?
OSL?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm like in the English-speaking world. Like,
yeah, I don't know. The only time I ever heard it was in StarCraft.
Korea has this thing where they there's a lot of Korean words that are actually English words that they appropriated. It's one of the surprising things when you come here. Like, if you learn the alphabet, you'll be reading stuff, like trying to practice, and you realize, oh, it's just an English word spelled in Hangul. But then what happens is you end up with these English words that are actually just not things people say.
Yeah.
That they'll say to you as an English speaker, assuming that you know what that is.
Like a broadcast jockey.
Yeah, a BJ.
Yeah.
That was an aptly named thing.
You know how Ty got his best BJ award? Did you see that from years ago? Yeah, Frika gave him a best BJ award. It was so funny.
When I moved out here and I started working in broadcasting, there's a Koreans will say this thing. They say, okay, so we start. You can ment.
Yeah.
And we'll cue you and you'll ment. And I was going, you mean like mint? No, ment. You're gonna comment. You're gonna ment. And I said, I'm sorry, that's like not a word. And they're like, oh no, it's a word in English. And I'm like, no, it really isn't.
I never understood that one.
So I think Royal Rotor's kind of one of those things.
Yeah.
I might find it after the show. Someone's gonna tweet at me with like many Wikipedia links, and apparently this has been around forever and has nothing to do with StarCraft, but. Yeah, I always want to say, like, yeah, he shows up, he wins the very first time.
Yeah, I don't know. I always liked that term, actually, when I was, like, watching the old events and stuff like that. I thought it just sounded cool, Like,
it is.
He's on the Royal Road. Like, whoa.
No, when you say it like that, it is cool, Gemini. I wasn't sold it until you went, he's on the Royal Road. Until you made the cool sounding voice.
Thank you, Tasteless. I tried. I practiced that at home.
Yeah, it wasn't cool until he said it like this.
Oh, my God, Tasteless.
12-year-old Gemini went, yes! I found what I like. Okay, so we got a TVZ. TVZ right now seems to be leaning back into the direction of like pretty long games. Terran doesn't have to try to end it, but they can, right? They can go for the push. They can go for the kill. Kind of a delight to see Rogue and Bunny facing it off. It feels like this is a match from a couple years ago, right? Maybe a GSL match from 3 or 4 years ago. And one of these two guys is going to advance. We should remind everybody that there are no Zergs yet. In the in the phase after this for the tournament. There are no surviving Zergs. So I mean, if Rogue makes it, that's a pretty big deal. We were very Zerg light. Raynor was kind of carrying the show in that regard.
Yes.
I guess all of last year, pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Zergs had their moments, but it's really been pretty Protoss dominant in general in like the past year or two.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if you're, for the sake of the tournament, for the sake of the game, right? We want to see the other races perform well, so we kind of have some interesting different matchups coming up here.
Yeah, it looks like coming into this game as well, it's going to be pretty normal to start things off. Bunny has just gone for the factory for some Hellions. He's got his Starport coming for likely some Banshees as well, and then he's got that third CC coming on in. So nothing super crazy out of him, whereas Rogue, again, is just playing super standard from the Zerg point of view as well. So both players just going to come into this map very standard. Actually going to be a Viking coming out first here for Bunny. So he's going to be going to deny some Overlords and then going actually into Stim himself for his bio play, of course. Mech has made a comeback as well a little bit in this matchup. So looks like it's not going to be the Mech card coming out from Bunny. Just going to be the normal Stim bio play follow-up.
So, this is it's going to take a little bit to pick up here. I mean, we've got that third command center started, and this is kind of a sweeping maneuver with the Viking to kind of clear out Overlords. This map is one where there's like not really an expansion in the middle. I guess there's that one kind of to the top right. Yeah. And we'll see if that actually plays a role here. But Zerg can kind of stay in their little sliver of the corner of the map. I mean, you can basically go up to 5 bases, and honestly, they're all pretty hard to push for Terran. So in some ways, from a growth perspective, I think Zerg's kind of like this map, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very big map, pretty open as well. Like you're saying, there's a lot of different attack avenues. I mean, there's those 2 really interesting diagonal ramps in the middle of the map as well that are just like so large and you just don't really see this type of geometry in SC2 maps really ever. So I'm curious just to see if they eventually do engage in the middle of the map. I just want to see engagements in that area. I just want to see what that looks like because it's a very strange part of the map, to be honest. But anyways, the Viking's going to be coming around, just going to try to scout, maybe try to get a drone or 2, but the Queen is in position, so not going to be able to find anything. We'll see the lair is morphing on in. It looks like there's roaches coming on out as well from Rogue, so he's going to be going for a roach defense for some of the initial Hellions and whatnot. So if those actually do find their way across the map, those probably won't find any damage.
So we're in the powering phase. Would not be surprised if we go up to about 8 racks here. That seems to be the number in TVZ. You basically hit that 8 racks. You're going to be getting the rest of your upgrades, and you're going to be basically trying to take a a very mechanical push-oriented win, right? You're trying to come in here, you're trying to, kite as well as you can against the Zerg. Got to be careful, by the way, with these Hellions. Oh my God, he actually keeps all 3 alive. So, yeah, I mean, as long as he's got those on the map roaming, he can keep doing damage and keep Zerg on their toes.
And Infestation Pit's coming out as well for Rogue. He's going to be trying to tech up pretty quickly here. He got like one Ravager, I think, in the middle of this too. So for a second, I thought he was going to be pretty aggressive with some Roach Ravager play, but I didn't actually see any more than that one built. But he is still making quite a few Roaches, and he's sticking here on 75 drones, which is not an insane amount when you're talking about Zerg. He's got a couple more just now in production, so just kind of trickling some units in here and there just to make sure that he doesn't just flat out die to an attack, because there is one coming from Bunny right now, a pretty decently sized Marine tank army, and will he actually be able to find any damage? The initial Ravager and just gets killed off immediately. Does Rogue actually have anything back at home to defend against? There's a couple more Ravagers coming from the back, so he's got to be able to make this defense work.
So it's 3 Biles to gun down a tank. Does he get those all in range? No! So that's going to be another tank shot off here, but I guess it almost doesn't even matter. I mean, we're seeing he's still able to push through here. And I don't know, that seemed a little bit ill-timed. I mean, I'm looking at the upgrades here, and this just looks like an anti-timing, right? Like,
yeah.
you basically want to hit right when it's done. I get the idea that you want to sometimes be moving out so that you can really hit at that moment, but he basically lost his tanks, he lost his stuff, and now those upgrades are done.
Yeah.
And imagine they were done, the fight was happening right now.
Yeah, we've been a bit of a different scenario, and yeah, it does look a bit strange from Bunny, because now he's just kind of have to move around with the bio on the right. He's going to try to do some multi-prong perhaps, might try to load up some more medevacs from home and send those across to the bottom as well. But honestly, Rogue is just sitting pretty. He's gotten all the way up to 84 drones. He's getting his next base. Might actually force a cancel here from Bunny. This could be very nice, so that's going to be good to keep Rogue checked a little bit. But the rest of the units from Rogue are finding their way to the right-hand side. We'll be able to keep this, push this bio force away, I should say. And we'll actually go right into the main base as the rest of that bio going over to the bottom left, like I mentioned earlier.
So, I mean, Rogue, I think, in a pretty healthy spot for the time being. We're getting to the point where Terran's splitting things up and hitting different locations. And, nice deny. Honestly, Bunny's getting his jabs in. It's kind of working. It's not going to slow the tech down at all. So we're going to get those Ultras coming out here. And that's really where when the Ultraless tech comes out, excuse me, that's when Zerg is able to, push you all the way back to your base. Zerg has a lot more sustain on the ground here.
Yeah, nice little forward move here from Bunny. We'll be able to catch a Ravager, but those Banelings morphing on in will force the pickup. As the rest of the units do find their way across the map, Bunny's going to try to go for a second push here. He did forget to make a couple supply depots, though, actually. He's totally supply blocked right now. His reinforcements will be very late with this push, and he still has not realized that he's not made any depots. He's also forgone the 2-2 upgrade, so went for that fast double eBay just for the 1-1 for now, and is not going to be progressing any further. Still not making any depots, so he's still supply blocked. Going into this fight, we'll see if Rogue can actually make a defense.
Okay, the Banes are going to come through here, and the fanning out is looking really good, but, I mean, the tanks are just not covered. The infantry is too low. I mean, I think that this game is looking very Rogue winnish.
It's very winningly for Rogue,
It's
perhaps.
very, very winningly. Well, I think he can just counterpunch all the way across the map, And again, I think this goes back to that weird timing. Sometimes, StarCraft is so much a game about, build orders and kind of preempting things and kind of following a very specific plan and a route. And I felt like, Bunny was going through the motions, but then the most important part of the build, which is when you hit, not if you hit, was at the wrong time. And from there, I mean, you bungle a big push, especially like an 8-Rax 3-base game.
Yep.
I mean, it's a lot easier for the Zerg after that. And so I think the tug-of-war in the middle of the map is going to go on, but the tech is looking really scary for Rogue, and I think Rogue is going to start to get too big to fail. Yeah,
his upgrades are going to be finishing pretty soon here as well. He's got Ultralisks coming on now, going to be having more Lings and more Banes. Adrenal will also eventually be on the cards here for Rogue, whereas Bunny is just kind of making more of the same. He's going to filter in a couple of Liberators as well, just to try and mix it up and have something else to deal with, the Ultras and stuff like that. Maybe force the Biles onto the Liberators instead of the tanks and whatnot, but I feel like just the longer this goes, the better it's going to be getting for Rogue, because right now Bunny is really putting all of the eggs in one basket to just go for this massive attack, not going for +2, and I struggle to find a way to see where he actually punches through. The thing that I'm seeing right now is that it's like the classic Terran thing where they have so few SCVs that their army just ends up being gigantic, and maybe that's just how he eventually wins the game. But other than that, I'm finding a hard way to sell this for Bunny, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what he can do. I mean, you know, if Rogue doesn't attack correctly, that's always one way this can go wrong. But I think, you know, as you can see, when the Ultras are out, he actually leads for a second with those Ultras, but decides to pull the Banelings out. He basically just has to take the next fight or two very, very carefully. And it looks like we're going to have him move in once again, so he's going to try to come in this time around. Some of the Banes actually connecting with tanks, which is not how you want to do it. So Rogue ends up dropping quite a bit, losing Ultras and Banes. You know, we were just talking a second ago about if, you know, he doesn't... Oh, my God. Oof. Beautiful.
Oh, nice.
So we were just talking a second ago about, like, maybe, you know, Rogue doesn't handle this fight well. Maybe it could happen. Well, he started that back here. The question is, can Benny capitalize on this and finish it off?
Yeah, we'll be able to throw a couple bios down to kill one of those Liberators, but the Ultras are also getting picked off pretty easily here as well. One of these is actually staying alive for quite a long time, but a couple nice Baneling connections onto those Marines, and the Blinding Cloud's also preventing some of the tanks and bio from attacking. You can see the army supply from Bunny has just dipped massively in that fight. Sure, he's got a whole bunch of Marines, but he knows it. He can't go any further. Rogue will make the first mark in this series.
I feel like Bunny played so well in the other series, but that game he just did not play well.
Yeah, no.
I mean, there's the anti-timings in this day and age. That's crazy.
In the big 26, going for an anti-timing.
Let me tell you something.
Man.
That's when I turn my stream off. When I literally get there and I go, my upgrades aren't done. I lost my whole army.
Oh God.
That's rough to see. You know, there's nothing overly complicated about what Bunny's trying to do back there, which is fine, by the way. You can play however you want to play, but like, yeah, don't hit before your upgrades are done.
Yeah, it's a bit brutal to see, especially since you said he did come off such a nice victory against Clem. And I was just also looking at the stats as well, because I actually just didn't know what these players' match history is like, but actually Rogue is dumpstering Bunny in their match history. Like, Bunny has won very few games ever since they started playing again, ever since like Rogue kind of came back from not having that time. I think he went to the military. I actually can't remember, but he wasn't really playing for a couple of years.
Military.
Pretty sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do remember. Yes, I remember he had the short hair picture and everything. I remember that.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, Rogue has been doing very well against Bunny ever since they came back. So Rogue just kind of continuing that history so far in this series.
Yeah, you know, especially with the Koreans, you know, they play against each other so much that, you know, there is sometimes a hierarchy, right?
Right.
You just know. And that's the thing that's crazy about StarCraft. Like, these guys are all so good, but then there is sometimes a defined who's better than who out here. You know, the layers are even there at the very, very top.
Yeah, it's like this person always beats this person, but then this person always beats that person. It's like a rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. Or it's like, sometimes it's just like all the way tiered up, right? Like a pyramid even, where it's like, there's like one or two guys right at the top that nobody can touch. So yeah, I mean, let's see what Bunny does. I don't think that Bunny should have lost that game, but, you know, the fundamental execution was pretty bad. So we're going to go into the Mothership map. What is the map called? Just Mothership?
It's just called Mothership.
Mothership? Okay.
Yeah. The Mothership
The
map.
Mothership
We
map.
could call it that.
We call it the old Mothership map. And let's see if he can play a little bit better. I don't think he has to change anything necessarily. Although, you know, the truth be told, I think Rogue he's just so strong at holding pushes.
Yeah.
He's so good at that dance.
He's so good at knowing when he needs to stop making drones, when he needs to just filter in a few more units and then go back to droning to make sure his economy isn't totally butchered.
Yeah.
He's just really good at understanding that ebb and flow of the matchup.
I think my brother, I can't remember if it was a paper or some blog. My brother, this is a long time ago, talking about StarCraft. I think this is all before StarCraft 2, but the idea was like, one of the mistakes people make when they think about StarCraft is they think like you have to win in an overwhelming way. It's not true. You want to win in an overwhelming way, but that's not really what you're trying to do. You're trying to just push the game towards the completion on your side. Right. So it's like you don't need to smash every attack perfectly, but if that did happen, that's great. You have to basically wait for that one big push and just have enough there where you won and you have enough left over. You could counterattack and like expand 3 more times and that should just tip the scale where they're kind of zoned out of the victory, right? In a lot of CCGs, I've heard, like competitive card games, they'll use the term like win more move.
Yeah.
Like you need to play enough of your hand, but don't be too greedy. Don't try to get too powerful or get like too many combos. If you can just pull off what you need to do, like, for how much mana or how many turns you have in your deck or whatever the expression is. But it's the same thing there. And I think that I'm bringing all that up because I feel like Rogue is so good at that balancing act.
Right.
Of kind of just having enough. And a lot of his games, when he was like the best in the world, when I would cast him, I always felt like when the game was done, it was hard for me to kind of find one moment to summarize things. Because what he did is he just like basically had 15 engagements where he kind of came out ahead in each one of them. And that was enough to put him in a percentage-wise lead where he's just, completely out of range of damaging.
Yeah, he is an extremely impressive player. I mean, there's a reason why some people, one in particular, likes to call him the GOAT of the game. But
That's
yeah,
right.
many others would disagree, but he's still very good. We can't take that away from him.
I saw him in Saudi Arabia for EWC after he did that. He's like, they all know I'm right. They know I'm right. I was like, all right. It's going to be a fun week in the middle of the desert with Artosis.
The GOAT debates cannot escape you, no matter where you go in the
world.
world.
Where I go, I don't even read Reddit or forums, and here I am. I'm stuck in the conversation. Yeah, I mean, with Rogue being in the condition that he's in, by the way, Raynor knocked out of RSL as well. It's kind of exciting to see Rogue doing this well, because, like, honestly, I'm kind of agnostic about which race is going to win because I know there's like a natural cycle where like, okay, Zergs will dominate. Now we have Protosses and there's been Terrans but I always like when there's like a Final Four with at least all three races. But Rogue gives me hope that could happen here.
Right. Yeah. I am very looking forward to the rest of his games here. It looks like in this game particularly, it is going to be, again, some Hellions, and it's going to be the 1/1/1 into the third CC. Coming out from Bunny, so once again, playing it pretty normal. Going to switch it up a little bit this time and go for a fast Liberator, so that does make me think he's going to be a bit more aggressive with his early Hellions, and then again, that Reaper, or sorry, the Liberator going in the back, trying to find some economic damage while he maybe dives in the front or tries to kill creep tumors and whatnot. Last game, it really felt like those Hellions did absolutely nothing. Like the Roach defense was way too solid. The Hellions really couldn't find anything whatsoever. So Bunny might be trying to make some adjustments here and try to find some more damage earlier on.
So it's going to be slow. The Hellions are just going to stay out here and try to poke. We'll see if he maybe overextends. Sometimes it actually works where you just like go by everything and run up into the main and kill all the drones. He's going to try to set up something here with the Liberator and the Hellions out here. Some players are more conservative than others with this. So he's just going to slam this Liberator down here right now, take out one queen. And the Hellions are going to come in. And the blocking is insane.
Dude, roaches, lings, whatever you got, doesn't matter.
He lassoed the Terran army. How did he do that? He hogtied it.
That was sick. I mean, just absolutely nowhere to run as Bunny. And yeah, these early harassments every single time. Last game, this game, nothing is phasing Rogue right now. He's going to send his lings across the map as well. Maybe see if he can find some counter damage, as there might not be too much here to defend this third base for now. It might actually just go into the natural as well, because the depot is down. The only two Marines will get immediately surrounded, as some of the lings just get sent to get killed by the Hellions, unfortunately. But some of them still also sticking around to kill some SCVs. So a nice little counterattack move there from Rogue.
Yeah, I mean, the stars are aligning right now for Rogue. This is going so smoothly. Nothing wrong with what Bunny tried, but man, that got slapped down so hard. So we have the upgrades lined up here. This is like a build order where you basically push it 2-2. So like everything you're doing is kind of a build up to that moment. So I don't think we're going to have any action yet here, other than like, we already saw like the Hellion run bys and stuff. But yeah, I mean, right now, Rogue is going from 3 now to 5 bases.
Yeah, man.
And 5 bases feels good when you're Zerg.
Yeah, if you get that without any economic damage done as well, you're just like, holy moly, I'm just sitting absolutely pretty.
You are just making things.
Yeah.
Never mind, he's going to push out at 1-1.
Yeah, he's going to try the same thing again, so he's going to go for this early 1-1 attack. I really hope he waits for the 1-1 to finish this time before going for this. He might find a little bit more success this time, perhaps just because it is actually a Muta play coming out from Rogue as opposed to the Roach Ravager last game. So there might be this timing right before the Mutas or right as the Mutas are coming out where there might be a bit of a weakness from Rogue that Bunny can possibly punish. But it looks like he's actually staying pretty passive. He doesn't want to be too aggressive. Maybe did he sniff out the Muta somehow? Because it feels like he's loading some of the... Okay, he did get a scan. That's very good. So yeah, he's loading up some of those Marines to go back into the main base. So he's splitting all of his stuff around to make sure he doesn't die to the initial Mutas. And then he'll go for his push a little bit later.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, back up. Don't overextend into this. And so there's the 2-2. Well,
there's the 2.
Just the 2. Let's see. Is he going to get the other one?
Nice.
Yeah.
He did it. He didn't. He didn't pull
Can he hear
beyond.
us?
Oh my God! He's stream cheating.
Oh my God!
He's 3 minutes in the future.
He's 3 minutes in the future.
It's like us from
we
last
stream on a
week.
delay, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's oh, that's right, that time traveling joke. We just keep traveling back in time to try to cast the game correctly. So the Mutas are out. This could force the Terran to pull back. I didn't see where their turrets.
Yeah, they're
back of the main. Okay, so he's got some stuff to basically curb damage for that.
Okay, Rogue is attacking some rocks, and
Yeah.
that's going to mean that Bunny can just walk right under them and just kill a couple of those
Terran
Mutas
said,
for
You're not gonna
free.
kill my rocks. That's on my side of the map. Those are my rocks.
That's my pet rock,
Yeah, now,
please.
Oh, I'm going to come now. I'm going to attack your rocks on your side of the map. So,
Dustin Browder's loving this, man.
yeah, this is great. Dustin Browder's like, I made them destructible for a reason. Finally, the game is made.
This is what
This
I've
is
been
what I
waiting for.
did. So now, you know, it's going to be about Zerg trying to generate some threats and counterattacks. Honestly, you really got to defend the E-base here, right? You can't let that get picked off. Zerg is at, hold on, 5, 7, 8. He's about to be at 8 bases.
That's actually crazy.
That's insane.
That's an insane amount of economy going to be coming out. And production, by the way. That's going to be really good for Rogue coming out here. He's trying to be as aggressive as possible with the Mutas, just trying to find any little damage here and there, just trying to pick Bunny apart and then maybe find a surround with the Lings and Banes. He looks like he's going to be going pretty aggressive with it for now. Looks like he will just back up. Doesn't want to go too crazy, but just trying to find those little openings. We'll be able to try to get the E-base, but that Thor coming out in just the right time. And that's going to be a big swing now for Bunny. Now that he's got those Thors out, he's really going to be comfortable to go across the map.
Yeah, he's pushing out now. And, you know, I mean, let's see if he can make this work. I gotta. Oh, okay. Not the worst Baneling Collide there. You know, but I think Bunny handled that fairly well. There's a lot of creep to move through. I think Bunny's going to try to push just all the way into the heart of the Zerg right now. He set up siege tanks. The creep surround is insane. He's just deep on the creep.
All right, nice connections coming in from some of the Banelings, but a lot of Marines on the bottom were able to split off very nicely, so plenty of them still left alive. And the army for Rogue does dip quite heavily. The Mutas not engaging just yet, as there still is a large number of Marines and those Thors in the mix. So he's going to lose one of these forward bases, but he's got plenty back at home as well. He doesn't need to keep this forward base alive. He's just buying as much time as possible to get more units.
A lot of empty medevacs. I mean, with energy, right? I mean, just not a lot of sustain here, not a lot of heal. The Banes are going to come through. The army thins out again. Are there any tanks? No, there's no tanks here. And I think Rogue has kind of done it. And, you know, when I'm watching a game like this, it's so hard to even understand what Terran was supposed to do in this build to make it work. Because he followed the formula correctly, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, at least trying to be synced up with his upgrades and trying to move out. But, like, Rogue looks so untouchable.
Yeah, no, he's just managing all of this super well, even throwing in some burrowed Banelings here and there to potentially catch those Marines as they're walking across. There was also a tank that was stuck in between those buildings, as Mabu kept pointing out, which is very funny. So everything is kind of just going out the window right now for Bunny. Things are getting really chaotic, losing some SCVs to Mutas as well. And he's really got to just continue to bolster up back at home. I mean, he's trying to get his 3-3 out. He's got to re-max before he has any chance of going across the map. He's not going to find any damage if he moves out before that. So he's basically giving Rogue even more time to just round everything out, going into the Ultralisks, getting the adrenal glands, getting more upgrades. Rogue, I'm finding a hard moment to think, like, what is Bunny supposed to do in this game to actually come out ahead?
Yeah. Someone's screaming at the monitor, "There's nothing you can do. You can't stop this." Feels like it right now, though. You know, I mean, you watch the way the Rogue just grows, and I mean, he's basically done with the bottom middle side of the map. But you know, there's plenty of real estate in the top right that Terran's not going to be able to take anytime soon.
Oh my god. Oh, do it, please. No. Come on. We need the clips, man. We need the sick clips. Oh well. So yeah, he's going to try to move forward a little bit, clearing out this creep. That's the best thing he could do. He needs to get rid of this creep, because the creep spread has been pretty decent so far, and every single fight he's taken was pretty much on creep, so it's allowing Rogue to get really nice surrounds, and Rogue is actually going to go for a big counterattack while this is happening, so a lot of the units are going to be running back on home for Bunny, as he needs to keep this fourth base alive, because he doesn't. If he loses this fourth base and loses all his SCVs, he's just going to be completely all in, basically.
Yeah. I mean, this is looking so bad. Look at how much more Zerg has in the top right now.
It's crazy.
This is like the worst feeling if you're Terran.
Yeah.
Because you just see there's like so much out there. You're like, oh god, I don't want to. You know, I'm a pro. I don't. Oh, hold on.
Oh,
Oh.
he's not looking.
Yeah.
All right, not bad.
The armor's pretty good. They're like, oh, just keep going.
It's unfortunate there was
God
there's
damn
mostly
it.
Marauders there. God, that's a big scratch.
Medevac. So
He just walked into the Banelings there at the end. That was unfortunate for Bunny. So losing quite a lot of Marines in the middle of that. The Banelings are just going absolutely ham. But honestly, the rest of the bio on the bottom is actually able to stay alive. So now it's on the reinforcements to be able to keep this alive.
It's on 3 bases.
Oh no, the
this is
mutas.
insane.
Jeez Louise, what can you even do as Bunny now? I mean, sure, he gets a decent trade in that first fight, but now he's got to just make it happen versus the next Remax as well. The Thors are going to die. Oh, this is looking rough, man.
I think this game's over. I mean, you know, the final remains of what Terran has is going to be cleaned up. And, you know, what are you going to do? Rogue looking just terrifying there.
Yeah.
A Zerg advances.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Very cleanly, too. That was like not. I feel like he wasn't even breaking a sweat versus Bunny in that series.
Well, he wasn't
whatsoever.
even. Yeah, I mean, he made it look very easy. I mean, that could have been like a TVZ from, like, you know, almost anywhere in Legacy of the Void. You know, world-class play. Just played perfectly. Macroed, never overextended. Yeah, I mean, Bunny not knocked out, but now in the losers match.
Yeah, and it really seems like Rogue just knows what Bunny is going to do. He loves those early timings. He loves to go for those big pushes with the upgrades finishing right at the right time, and really likes to favor the mid and early and mid game a little bit. Doesn't like to draw it out super late. So Rogue's just like, all right, I'm just gonna sit. I'm gonna absorb. Just make sure I don't over drone. Just make sure I can defend this, and just kind of play it slow from there. And you can just see how good he is at that. And that's why he probably has such a good record against Bunny in the last couple months.
Yeah, yeah. What's our plug here? We're going with the YouTube this time.
Nice.
We need to grow this YouTube, guys. Please leave a comment, like the video. That really helps us. We are trying to grow this thing. I know some of you guys are watching live right now. We want to try to get this into the algorithm where the other, you know, the YouTube gods of StarCraft 2, like Loco,
Hearthstone.
like Winter, like Hearthstone. You know, we're talking the Mount Rushmore
The Mount
of
Rushmore of-
StarCraft 2 YouTubers. We're trying to get our faces etched up on there too, but right now, we're not there.
We're not there yet.
We're
We're
not
such
there.
little losers.
We're losers!
We're just sitting at the bottom of the mountain, just like looking up. God, I wish I could be that cool.
Yeah. It sucks. It's hard. But you could help us get there. So please, do seriously subscribe to the YouTube. We're going to go to the losers match in a little bit, but first, a short little break. That's how it's done.
Look
well
at
done.
Get out of here,
Yeah,
Chase. This is
you're doing the intros from here on out. I'm like, I was too excited to talk about the map like the last game.
Oh, we got some signs.
Oh, we got
Look
these
at that.
pieces of paper. We didn't have these yesterday. We
Yeah.
started the show and we thought we had everything set, and then we went, oh, we don't have the little
cheerfuls.
the cheerfuls as they call them.
Yeah.
I hope we see a Raynor win here. I hope we have a longer series. But I'll tell you what, man, I don't think we're going to get it because Classic is playing so well. He's shown a real range of play. We're talking about the craziest endgame stuff ever in one round, and then in the next round, he comes in here with some of these decapitating moves like we had in the last game.
Yeah, he's really just kind of solidified himself in this nice series right here. I mean, we saw, again, like I was saying before, in the previous series in Season 3, he was throwing out some weird stuff. It was not what we normally see Classic. He's really coming back to his standard style in these games, and you can see the difference. He is up solidly 3-1 in this series right now, coming into this next game on Winter Madness. I think he's going to be feeling some good momentum, some good confidence coming in to just continue to do the same thing. It's not been broken too hard so far. It's been working pretty decently. The only time really was that one Lurker game where he wasn't able to get too much early damage done. So once again, I want to see Raynor focusing heavily on that early game defense. Do not let the Adepts get in. Do not let the Oracles get damaged. Keep the Queens in the correct positions. Keep your spores on time, because if he can get that ready, then he will be very nicely situated into this mid game.
The big question is going to be which kind of Classic is going to come into this game, right? Like the fact that Raynor wins with that push in Game 3, and we think, okay, well, he seems to have a solution, and then Classic comes with an even earlier, even more aggressive push in Game 4. That's kind of scary.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really up on the cards on what's actually going to be happening right now, but a Stargate coming right back in for Classic yet again. Not surprised to see that. It's been working so far very nicely for him. And so Raynor will be trying to get some scouts off, trying to deny those probes, and trying to deny these Adepts, because like I said before, those Adepts were able to get much more damage than they really should be in this early game, and he needs to be able to stay on top of that this time.
So we've got the Adept coming in here now, doing a little bit of scouting. Nothing's looking crazy or out of the ordinary so far. We've kind of cast this match a couple times already, at least for the early game. And yeah, it's going to be a hard road ahead here for Raynor, who is looking, again, strong, but against a player that just seems to have all the answers. And, in some ways, we're getting the conclusion to the thing we speculated about earlier on in this is like, Classic got to the RSL Final Four off of Protoss versus Terran, off of getting Psystorm really fast and kind of going for a mixture of splash damage. It's just sort of too hard to deal with. And that was all in a patch in a previous game when we were saying, well, how is he going to do in the next iteration of the patch in a matchup that he's not as, anywhere near as strong in, at least compared to the PvT that we saw. And so far the answer is he's totally fine.
Yeah, we saw some more Adept pokes from Classic here, and it looked like Raynor actually made a pretty decent swell of Zerglings earlier on, making sure that those Adepts can't get any damage done. But now the Oracle comes on in, gets, I think that was 2 drones with the Queens in position, able to shoo it away as the Lings try to make their way over to the third base to deny that, but not able to do so. So honestly, pretty decent from Raynor. Only 2 drones getting killed off, but that's a lot of Lings that you made earlier on to try and kill the Adepts and deny them from doing damage, and then also to not really find any damage themselves on the third base.
All right, the Lings come in there. Perfect little placement there with
the
Adepts. I like the split instead of just the little 3-way setup in between the gas and the minerals. But yeah, we got the game developing. The Forge, the Twilight Council, the Robo, all inbound here.
Yeah, this is looking more like one of the earlier games from Classic when he went for that +1 charge follow-up. I think he might be looking into the fact that there is no... Yes, there it is. He saw, again, no Roach Warren. He's getting that Robo as well to set himself up for the Archon drop.
We are heading on into the losers match of Group B. It's going to be Clem, or sorry, C? Wait, is it B? I actually forgot. For
B.
It's B? Okay, with that whole schedule thing messed me up too. Clem versus MaxPax is going to be the game on the cards, and Clem will be going back to Terran for this one as well. He's not electing to play a PvP against MaxPax, so looks like he just wants to stick there for the PvTs a little bit if he's going against a Terran, but against a Protoss, of course, he's going to be going back to his main race. So all you Terran players can rejoice.
Yes, here at the RSL, we do allow switching races between sets. Not during the set, right?
Right, yeah.
But just between sets. So I feel like we were just saying Bunny beating Clem has kind of turned this group on its head.
Yeah.
Things have kind of turned out unexpectedly here. Rogue getting through, not the biggest surprise. He'll be the first player from Group B moving on into the playoffs. He'll join Hero, Zaun, Cure, Trigger, and then whoever advances out of Group D tomorrow.
Yeah, honestly, looking pretty good for our lineup so far, and we're going to be heading on into our first game in just a moment here. It's going to be Old Republic as our first map. I'm very excited to see what kind of action gets underway here, because this is a very storied matchup. These guys play each other all the time in all of those online cups, just constantly. I feel like these two play each other like 3 times a week or something. It's like actually crazy. So definitely in for a banger, I would expect. I'm very curious to see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, the record is slightly in Clem's favor. I think a 35% win rate for MaxPax between them. Like you say, they play all the time. And Clem knows this matchup, dude. He knows it from both sides. It's kind of confusing to see him play Protoss and then go back to Terran and stuff. But
Yep.
he has a very kind of unique Terran style, I think. And I really enjoy watching him play this matchup. So I'm glad he switched back. Just as a fan of the game and as a viewer, it's nice to see. And these guys, like you say, it's going to be a banger. They're at the top of their game. They always bring out the highest level of StarCraft here.
Yeah, and it looks like Clem is going to be starting this off with an eBay block coming around and dodging that probe scout. We'll be able to get that into the natural unseen, and we'll be able to throw down that eBay to completely deny the Nexus, so that's going to be a little annoying for MaxPax. We'll see how he wants to deal with that. A lot of pro players do like to also just take the third base as their natural instead. I honestly always am amazed when they go for that, just because it feels like it's so vulnerable. But these pro players are just so good at being able to defend the strange bases. You can see he's even trying to juke this SCV so that way he can actually get it down. Nice. We'll be able to throw that on down. Doesn't have to take that base all the way to the top left. That would have been really awkward to be taking that as your natural. So we'll go for it at the third base, and actually gets his probe across to deny the natural for just a little bit for Clem as well.
Yeah, if that third base had been denied there, that could have kind of ruined the whole game. And it was actually pretty close. Like, the SCV was almost there. Protoss players kind of taken a leaf out of the Zerg playbook.
Right.
And, you know, they used to kill it with probes, and now they say, actually, it's fine. I can just take it at this other base down here. No problem whatsoever. It does change the kind of layout of the map. Suddenly, the attack paths that you have are different, lead into the Protoss, you know, natural, if they compared to if they were to take it at the normal natural. So we'll have to see if that does come into effect. We see the CC going down for Clem on the back of this, and it was a 1-gas opening, so no insanely fast factory. We just see it coming up now.
Well, something that I would like if they even double down on the Zerginess is if when they send the probe to the third base. I wasn't sure exactly when, but I feel like Clem probably cancels the eBay at some point when he sees the probe so far away. Hide a second probe, like bring that second probe over to the bottom, and then you see when the eBay's canceled, then you can just make it at your natural anyways. I feel like that could be kind of cool, but
that could be cool. I feel like they gotta wait for it though. Wait for the Nexus, right?
I feel like some of those Terrans, they're so great. They just want their minerals back, man. There's like they just get the quickest moment they can to get that thing canceled. I don't know. I feel like there might be a chance there where maybe you can slip that in, but. Anyways, we'll see how this one continues to go on. MaxPax is just going to be going into the Stalker Sentry. Gets a nice hallucination scout. We'll be able to see exactly what is going on in Clem's base. We'll see that factory. We'll be able to stick around long enough to see the Hellion come out as well, so he won't be noticing any Widow Mine early. So he will know exactly what's going to be coming, as the first Reaper actually gets a probe, as it was too far away from that shield battery.
Yeah, and kind of the interesting thing about having the third base as your natural is you cannot make a wall. Like, if you have the natural, you can make a wall that protects both your main and your second base. But when you have the third base first, you can't make a natural. So sometimes units like the Hellion can get into this mineral line a bit easier. He's still actually going to go over to the natural here. He would love to check the timing on this third Nexus. As we see, it's going down very early here at 350. Blink on the way for MaxPax. He's kind of playing his tried and tested macro style here.
Yeah, he's going to try to come on up here with the Hellion and the Reaper, but very nice SimCity from MaxPax will make it so that way it's much more difficult for Clem to go in. And honestly, excellent micro as well to be able to keep all of these probes alive. That is very difficult to do. It's very easy to botch that and just kind of lose a thing or two. So honestly, very nice micro, keeps most of those alive, and we'll be sitting pretty I was going to say sitting pretty.
Sitting pretty prettily.
I'm going to
say that 5 times fast.
Die. Anyways, yeah, Robo coming on up, so MaxPax will be feeling nice in this game.
I'm so impressed by that micro, by the way. Like,
yeah.
Sending each hurt probe back as soon as it gets hit. Like you said, way more difficult than it looks. I lose 10 probes there, no problems.
Yeah. I'd lose 12.
Oh, okay, you win. I lose the whole mineral line. Like,
I just leave the game before they die.
I kick my computer cord out and just, yeah, okay. Anyway, Stim's on the way, combat shield as well. I believe there's no third on the way yet for Clem. I didn't see it going up. It looks like he's gearing up for a big push here. We've got a lot of production in the main, double upgrades on these tech labs. Meanwhile, MaxPax just checking out what's going on with these Stalkers, looking if there's any room to take advantage of any units out of position. And yeah, this Raven going to fly across and be very annoying.
Yeah, it's going to throw down a couple auto turrets on this third base, try to maybe abuse the fact that the battery was so far to the left, but very nice reaction from MaxPax. We'll be able to keep all of those alive. But that Raven will still just be able to sit back in that little corner, just kind of recoup some of its energy. It's going to go in for a small scout and then just go back there. So yeah, you can just kind of keep that there if you want. Or you can even just bring it home as Clem, as MaxPax doesn't seem like he wants to go out too far on the map with any more of his Stalkers. So he will be able to keep that alive. Meanwhile, it's going to be the Robo follow-up from MaxPax, so none of that fast Storm play that was so popular last year. It's going to be going right into the Colossus and plenty of more gateways, so he's going to be going for the Colossus gateway style. Something that's a lot of players don't always think is the most incredible style, just because, again, Storm can sometimes be so strong against these early pushes, but we'll see if Clem can find a timing before there's any Colossus out.
Dude, Clem juggling individual Marines in and out of that medevac, trying to make sure no Stalkers pick them off. Really nice micro there, and here he comes. He's moving across the map. There's actually a medevac here in the third base of MaxPax. Not going to pick off too much. The shield battery is there, forced to lift into this airspace, and it looks like he's trying to buy himself some time or open up a position for this tank to get where it needs to be to siege up and start hitting something.
Yeah, and this is hitting before Colossus has even started, so this is going to be a long way out for MaxPax. He's going to have to defend with just the gateways, but it's going to be great and easy with those couple force fields right on that ramp. That was excellent. Able to force Clem to pick up and get on out of there, so really clutch defense so far from MaxPax, buying extra time for that Colossus to stay alive, and now the Warp Prism comes in for the backstab as all of the units are rallying across. This is going to be really good for MaxPax.
This Warp Prism is so well timed, just as Clem is trying to make his move here. He suddenly has to worry about that back home. Whilst Micro and his army at the front, you have to be careful on both sides here. Even pulling some SCVs, 5 going down. This is really good for MaxPax, nice. And he's on the tank already. The tank falls, the Widowmine goes off on only one Zealot. That's perfect. And Clem's forced to retreat here. MaxPax dealing with this extremely well.
Yeah, this is just perfect from MaxPax. Delays perfectly long enough with those force fields, allows the Prism to get the backstab, and then while Clem is distracted, pounces on the attack. Kills off the tank with a nice flank of Zealots, goes in with the rest of the units, forces Clem away, and is now able to take this fourth base cleanly with his Colossus coming back as well. MaxPax takes a really nice advantage in this mid-game. Even finds this Raven randomly in the side. This is looking great for him.
That's a very nice pickoff there. That Raven looking a little bit lost ahead of the Terran army, and I like how quickly he takes the fourth. As soon as the pressure is off him, he says, okay, I'm safe. I'm taking this fourth base right now. And it started just before the third of Clem finished. If you get a cancel on this Nexus, that would be nice. The Protoss army out of position right now, and it is forced to cancel. If he can keep these medevacs alive. Oh, one goes down. Lucky not to lose 2, perhaps.
Yeah, he was really trying to split the fire there. You can see he was trying to go for the furthest one and then hopefully get one more shot from the Stalkers onto the weak one, as that's the one that actually had all the units in. And of course, he can't really know that. It's hard to notice where they get picked up into. But regardless, they will just get found anyway, because 2 Stalkers diligently left behind by MaxPax, so nicely done to be able to kill that off. And it looks like he's trying to mount an attack over to that third base now as well, since all of his army is moving over there, and he's got his War Prism still alive to the left-hand side. It was denied by a couple Widow Mines, but not actually killed, so he's still going to be able to launch this attack and potentially bust down this third base.
Yeah, this army from the Protoss is looking quite large right now. A ton of Zealots, Colossus in the back, 2 of them firing away. No Vikings inside. They will reign supreme. Right now, he's hit a CC. He needs to bring that second Colossus into the fight. The SCVs are pulled. The splash damage, though, is a lot here. Clem just trying to hang on, but he's taken so much economic damage in this fight already.
And it's just over. Game. Jeez, MaxPax with a clinical game number 1 on Old Republic. This is now very interesting. Clem is 1 game away from getting knocked out of the RSL first in his group. That's like...
Dude, if Clem and Reynor don't make it out of the groups,
what?
it's a bad day for Europe, man.
That's insanity, actually, that this could actually be happening. I mean, MaxPax just steamrolled him. Like, that was just so perfect. Dealt with the eBay block, dealt with the harassment, dealt with the actual push itself, and then just launches himself across the map. I mean, that prism timing was so excellent. That's like the understanding of when to... Okay, it sounds kind of dumb. Okay, like, okay, you see the armies are right...
No, when you say it, Gemini.
The army is right in front of you. Of course, now's the time to go with the war prism. What's so hard about that? But, like, finding the time of when to make the prism exactly, like, do you get an extra immortal? Do you get a couple of observers to actually scout around? Do you rush directly into the Colossus first to be able to defend? Finding the right time to get the prism is difficult, and then actually sending it across with the most opportune timing when all of the units aren't just kind of sitting there on the rally as well, because sometimes that happens. The Terran you go in with the prism, but then they're just rallying at home, so anyway, nothing happens, and then there's no damage. But I don't know, MaxPax just has a great understanding of how that push was going to work and just executed it perfectly.
Yeah, I feel like he sent the prism a lot quicker than most Protoss would. They maybe like to keep it at home. You know, you have some micro potential with it. Obviously, he didn't have Colossus at that moment, but yeah, like you say, it was pretty much perfect. This was a textbook game from MaxPax, how to hold this kind of push, take your 4th base, and then hit back at the Terran. Really impressive stuff. We do move into game number 2 on 10,000 feet.
Yes, indeed. Do they use feet in England? Is that or do you use meters?
For height?
Or just in general, like
for height, we use.
I mean, are you 10,000 feet tall? Like, I imagine this is like distance, right?
Well, we don't use it on the roads, but we use it for height. Yeah.
Oh, you do. That's strange, isn't it? Like you mix the two. Like you use kilometers for distance, but then use height.
Well, we use miles
for height. You actually use miles?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. What the heck?
Yeah.
Why does everyone always clown on America for being the only people that uses miles and feet and garbage? What the heck? What is this?
Well, we don't want to get into that now. I mean, there's just we can argue about that later because there's a valid reason people clown on America for that. But you know, we
fair enough. All right, fine. All right.
Yeah,
we'll talk about.
We
this
can talk about the eBay block instead.
Yeah, sure,
maybe.
no problem.
Oh, God. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
I feel like I hit a nerve there.
No,
or something.
I was just I was just genuinely curious. I was like,
oh, right.
But then you said I was like, I just thought they used kilometers. I was like, oh, okay, what the heck?
I'm actually trolling you. They do use kilometers. Hey,
what?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't even know what to believe in. Tell me Gullible's written on the ceiling. Oh, look. I don't know, dude. Like, what the fuck? Anyways, we got another eBay block coming out of Clem. So this map, honestly, I don't really... Actually, okay, I was going to say I don't really mind it that much on this map just because you can just take this forward 3rd base, and that's honestly not that far away. It seems pretty natural to take that as well. But it is really obnoxious against tank pushes because they can go for a tank push against this pretty easily, follow it up with some Liberators, and it's really awkward to defend that that mineral line there on that little pocket. So this could bite MaxPax in the butt just a little bit, so that might be what Clem is trying to go for. We'll see if he is able to actually abuse this strange Nexus position.
Yeah, Marpu there just highlighting the extremely dangerous tank positions that a Terran can find themselves in. I mean, if you siege tanks there onto the mineral line, you have to go all the way around to engage into that. It can be very difficult. So if a tank push does end up coming out, we'll have to see what MaxPax's plan is to deal with that, because I'm sure he does have an answer. He's obviously been in this situation before, but just on the face of it, it looks very difficult.
Yeah, I like how he's being very careful with these probes as well, knowing how far they have to go to actually transfer over to that natural. Doesn't want to lose any to a stray Reaper coming out, so just waits for that Stalker to ferry them along and for the battery to finish to make sure they don't die, as the Adept was sent all the way across to get the Scout. So there's actually no Reaper at all, by the way. It's just going to be some Marines coming out from Clem, so won't really even have that coming into play as he's going super greed, just trying to get as much as possible, get as many units out, and just kind of knowing that MaxPax is already going to be adjusting his build defensively to deal with stuff like that, so he doesn't need to even do it in the first place.
Yeah, indeed. And we do have a CC in the main, so that Adept shades up. It does see the reactor on the barracks. That's good information, good to know. And MaxPax is going to be going into his Blink once more. We'll have to see if he mixes up here with a different number of gates or something like that. But honestly, after the way he handled the push in game number 1, I wouldn't be surprised if he does something similar. We do see the Robo coming down now as Warp Gate is finishing up.
Yeah, we'll see how MaxPax is going to be able to deal with whatever aggression comes on out, because we will be having that Widow Mine drop eventually. The CC, of course, is going to be very delayed to get onto the natural. That's just kind of how this works when you go for this high ground CC. So obviously, Clem, of course, needs to wait for enough Marines to come out. We'll be able to lower that depot and just find its way across. So we'll be able to get that. The Widow Mine drop going to be sent across now as well. Is MaxPax going to be paying attention? It's very rare, I feel like, these days that you actually see the Widow Mine drop do an insane amount of damage. So MaxPax would have to make a massive critical error right now.
There's no units here right now. Okay, he does pull the probes very quickly. Can he target onto a juicy target here? Going to go for the edge one there. 4 probes going down. I think that's pretty good if you can get them out.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Nice start here for Clem. And this is kind of a result of the eBay block, right? This base is so much more difficult to defend Widow Mine drops than your natural.
Yeah, and being able to get out with the medevac as well, and not actually being forced to stay stuck kind of in like one of those dead zones or whatever, where they're not able to get out because you can kind of surround them from both sides. So yeah, honestly, a very nice opening move from Clem, able to get those couple probes, able to keep those those Widow Mines alive, and we'll be able to use them defensively as well. If that prism goes in a bit of a different location, that actually could be massive for Clem if he just gets the Widow Mines targeted onto them. But it looks like they won't be going into that direction. We'll be going into the main base instead, as there are a couple Marines to defend. Is that actually enough? The tank will be spawning soon, and that's going to be critical to be able to defend.
Yeah, I like this blink up. Going to catch these Marines with not much support here. The tank does pop out, but is it a good time or not? Will it fall? The meta... Okay, I thought he was going to just go for it, but of course the medevac can pick it up, and then you could end up losing some Stalkers. These Stalkers will one-shot SCVs with 4 of them. Oh, if he actually fires with all 4 of them. Could have been another SCV or 2 going down there, but this is good damage. Oh, the mines from before find a juicy target as he's microing in the main.
Yeah, that was pretty nice. That was like, I think, 3 Stalkers just getting killed off by each of those mines. So that's excellent to find those rallying across. Obviously, MaxPax has no reason to suspect those just to be sitting right there. So Clem, with good foresight, will be able to pick those off. But there's still more commitment coming from MaxPax. He's not done with this pressure. He sees blood in the water, wants to continue up, just blinks right on top of this tank, loads up the 2 weakened Stalkers as well, and will continue this attack. The tank is on the low ground on the right, so it's not able to contribute just yet, forced to bring SCVs into this fight to keep this base alive. And so far, MaxPax is still finding ways to get damage. If he can just keep that tank count as low as possible, he's still going to have room to move.
Yeah, well, MaxPax in control in this game right now. The SCV's been pulled in both the main and now in the natural, getting ready to repair this bunker if need be. He's pressuring with the main on the left, with the prism on the left side, sorry, towards the main, whilst this Stalker force is at the front. Clem needs to stabilize here for a moment. And I mean, MaxPax is on 3 bases. He's making probes very efficiently. He's got his observer on the way for some detection. And Clem now throws down a CC, and he's getting a Viking, so he can finally deal with this War Prism.
Yeah, I thought for a second MaxPax was going to try to just dive in on the natural, seeing that the only tank alive was in the main base, but didn't want to go for it as there were still medevacs to heal as well. So it's a bit difficult to go for that. A lot of these Stalkers are kind of weak as well, so you don't really want to go for any crazy YOLO blinks if you're not sure. Maybe there's a tank that's like just a little bit out of your vision range, and then they're able to get some good splash damage on there. So we'll just play it very passively, knowing that he's given himself a pretty decent situation. It's not like he's in a fully, he's not like he's just winning the game outright with this attack, but he is able to get a good amount of control, and he's going to be going into the Colossus as his follow-up.
Yeah, Colossus on the way, Thermal Lance as well. That Forge now only just finished, so he will start to get his upgrades going here shortly. 30C is going to finish up here for Clem. I feel like at the moment he's just trying to stabilize here, because it was a bit of a rocky start for him. The Stalkers did a decent amount of damage. He's not out of this game by any means. He's actually was momentarily ahead in supply there. It kind of felt like it was going really bad for him, but when you look at the numbers, maybe it's not so bad.
Yeah, it's looking pretty all right. The 3rd CC is going to come on over. A tank getting not killed, picked up by the medevac. Jeez, Clem is just so good at that type of micro. It's actually ridiculous. So
he doesn't miss, man. He does not miss when it comes to these pickups and all the blink micro when he's playing Protoss. Like, he's just so sick.
Yeah, it's really nice to see, and you want to keep those tanks alive. They're the linchpin of these attacks. Whenever you do eventually go for the forward move outs as the Terran, you want as many tanks alive as possible in the earlier stages, because it makes it so difficult, and it puts a clock on the Protoss to actually engage you, so that way they don't just slowly pick away at your bases and whatnot. So getting any of those is great. Unfortunately, Clem is going to deny that for MaxPax. A forward blink going to be able to kill off a few of these trailing units from Clem, as MaxPax is actually making in a position to try and contest this third base yet again.
Yeah, he's kind of walking around, seeing if there's an angle to attack here. He has expanded behind this. He's up to his 4th base now. The probe count is going to get out of control pretty quickly here if he keeps making 4 at a time. This War Prism is found. There is a Viking out now, so that can be shooed away. Some bio comes over to clean up these Zealots, and it looks like MaxPax, he's not going to commit too hard here. He's just sharking around, seeing if he can find any damage. But Clem looking very solid right now.
Yeah, MaxPax doesn't want to go too deep. He was hoping to maybe get the Prism in and force a reaction out of Clem, force him to pull some of the army into the main base and whatnot, but not able to do so. So he calls off the attack, just sends it back home, doesn't want to overextend into a very well-defended Clem, because this position is very difficult to attack into as a Protoss against Terran. It's very easy for them to set up a very nice entrenched position. It's hard for you to get a good concave, and it's just a difficult situation overall. It's not an easy base to break, so doesn't want to go for that. The longer this game does go, I feel like it's going to get really nice for Clem, just because in general this map is very good for Terran defensively. Like I was just mentioning, that forward base is just very hard to attack into, and a lot of the exterior ones as well. It's an easy turtle map overall for some of for the Terran late game. So yeah, MaxPax wants to find some avenue of attack, but will Clem let him? I'm not sure.
Yeah, this looks like it might be our first long PVT of the night. Most of them have kind of been decided by the first push or two. We do see Ghost coming in now. MaxPax already on the way to Storm, so that will be very nicely in time to deal with that. And MaxPax has had a lot of map presence, a lot of map control, and he's using it to expand like crazy behind this. He's already now up to, what's that, 6 bases. We know Protoss will often go up to 7, 8, even 8 bases in this matchup at the moment, while the Terran goes for a big army. But never mind that, here we go. MaxPax pulling the trigger. Suddenly, these Zealots all charge in, a lot of them getting melted. The Colossus gets some good shots off, but will fall eventually to these Vikings. And MaxPax, I don't know, it came through a bit of a bottleneck there, and that was a pretty good fight for Clem. The thing is, MaxPax has the economy behind this to keep trading.
Was able to kill a lot of those tanks, so that's actually a nice win for MaxPax. It's going to really negate the amount of just kind of hunkering down that Clem can do in some of this late game situations, as the ghosts do start to come out as well. I was a bit surprised that he did go for that attack just so suddenly with no like prism on the back end or anything like that. It was just a straight up attack. And it honestly traded pretty decently for him. I thought for a second he was going to get overwhelmed, but able to manage the fight very nicely. Now going over to the left-hand side, a different position, while the Prism tries to shark around and find a way into the natural or main base. Will drop a couple Zealots over to this other side, and now going with the main base, with the main army, as the main base warp-in does go down, as there's really not too much to defend there.
Yeah, Clem kiting as best as he can here. There's a lot of Protoss. Storm now in the mix as well. We're going to need to see some EMPs at some point. There's actually a ton of bio in the main to deal with that War Prism. A big Storm goes down on all that bio, and the SCVs, 24 go down already. This Protoss army is absolutely wrecking everything right now, and there's way more where that came from. When you're on 6 bases, you can keep making units for days. MaxPax in a very good spot here.
Yeah, he's really utilizing this position pretty well. With the Prism going in at the same time really shows what type of damage you can do. That's what he was trying to do earlier on in the game when he was posturing, but the Prism did get denied. You can see when it pulls away half the army of the Terran player, you're allowed to just pounce with your main army on that forward position, and you're able to get some nice storms because they are distracted. They're dealing with 2 positions at once. You, as the attacking player, don't necessarily need to look at the warp-in as much as they do need to look at it defending. So he's able to get some pretty nice engagements, and so far MaxPax is trading decently. You still need to keep this up, though. You can't just take 1 or 2 good fights like that as the Protoss and expect yourself to just kind of walk away with the victory. The Terran, if they're able to continue to just sit and turtle and able to get enough Ghosts, enough Vikings, you will eventually get outscaled, and it's very difficult to take these late games fights. Once it gets super crazy long, these late game engagements get very Terran favored.
Yeah, while some of these fights from MaxPax might not seem like the ideal fight, they are completely necessary, as you do not want to allow the Terran to get maxed out, fill out their tech tree, get a huge number of ghosts, range liberators. All this late game Terran stuff is very scary for the Protosses. So that's why we see him being so aggressive and trying to trade out before Clem can get maxed. His War Prism sneaks into the main whilst all these storms go down at the front. The Vikings gonna kill these Colossus. Actually, pretty quickly, the Stalkers all blink away. These Colossus and Archons left for dead. And Clem suddenly making some headway in this game. The snipe on the High Templar. And this is where it starts to get scary for MaxPax.
Yeah, he really all-in on that base. Just tried to click it down and kill it as quickly as possible. But it allowed him to lose all of his Colossi, a lot of the Storms as well. There's really not too much now to defend. He's only got 68 army supply, and a lot of it's just Blink Stalkers. And this army from Clem is not going to die anytime soon. A nice counterattack, very well timed from MaxPax, as he needs to buy some sort of time and cause some chaos. Will allow him to go on to the right-hand side army with what he's got, but I don't know. It feels like there's still a good amount of bio here. Yeah, he will be able to disengage that nicely, but keeps the base alive, which is a nice win for MaxPax, as he still has a large probe count.
Yeah, look at the difference in army supply here. More than 40 ahead is Clem. And he's going to put it to work now. He did leave that one base alive there. It would be nice if he could finish that off. Actually lands the Vikings as he sees there's no more Colossus in this fight. High Templar is trying to use these storms, the new storm, to zone out this bio for as long as they can, but eventually they will run away. Goes to the front looking for an EMP, and it lands on everything there, Gemini.
Yeah, that's a nice EMP. We'll need to get those Vikings back in the air to kill that one Colossus. A flank of Zealots over on the right side will be very good as well. So much of this bio is very weak. The medevacs were not able to heal them up. So now MaxPax takes a massive swing and actually wins the game out of nowhere. An incredible, decisive move from him. Even with that great EMP going off on the Templar, even with the Vikings killing the one Colossus, the amount that the bio was stimming, that in the last like 2-3 minutes, meant that he didn't actually have the sustain to continue all those fights. And with that fourth base going down earlier as well, it ended up being the correct play for MaxPax to target that down, because he knew he had the economy behind it to be able to recoup enough. Playing it like a Zerg player, knowing he might win 1, 2, 3 engagements, but the fourth one, the fifth one, those are what's going to land, and that's what's going to give him the victory.
Yeah, I thought Clem might be making a comeback in this game. He had a few key fights. He took out a lot of the tech units, you know, the splash damage of the Protoss, but I mean, the economy was just crazy. I think he was up to almost 90 probes there at the end. This is kind of the new standard meta in the late game for TVP. And MaxPax played it really well. He actually had a huge advantage in the early game, which I kind of forgot about.
Yeah.
But Clem made that into a real game and even looked like he might take it there, but MaxPax is able to close it out.
Yeah, you can kind of see what happens there once they get that crazy army. But I need to stop talking about the game. I need to talk about Patreon. Holy moly, you guys need to join our Patreon. That is how we've been able to fund this entire tournament. We've been so lucky to have so many of you guys joining us. We would love it if you can also continue to take a look. You got plenty of different tiers depending on how much money you can give, or you can just sign up for free and get some notifications and whatnot. You can vote on players that get invited to future tournaments. You can vote on maps that get added to the map pool. You can also just ask us random questions, because we sometimes do podcasts and get little questions from the mailbag. A lot of you guys don't do that, by the way. You need to give us your dang questions. We don't have any questions in the mailbag half the time. So if you're a Siege
Gemini's
tank,
lonely, guys. Send him some questions.
Exactly. I like answering things. It's fun.
You can vote if we use the metric system.
That's we could make a discussion
There's all
about
kinds
that.
of stuff to vote on. You got to check it out. You got to get those emails coming in.
Yeah. Anyways, we're going to be going to a short break before we have our last game of the day. It's going to be a banger for sure. Stick around.
What's up, guys? This is Tasteless, and I am here to show you the StarCraft tabletop miniatures game. This is from Archon Studio. They reached out to us right when we started the RSL, and I gotta say, they've been an incredible sponsor. They have made an insane tabletop game here that I am super excited to show you guys. If you're a fan of StarCraft, you're gonna love this. But first, we're gonna start with Zeratul. We're gonna start with the first item they ever sent us here. And right off the bat, I gotta say, I mean, it looks exactly like Zeratul from the cutscenes in the actual game. I mean, to the T. Zeratul is a Dark Templar, if you've been living under a rock your whole life. I personally am a fan of Zeratul. I am a scumbag DT rusher myself, so I think this is a perfect first item for me. So we're gonna do an unboxing now. It is containing only 3 items total. So we've got the 2 plastic parts, the pamphlet that it comes with, and then inside the pamphlet are 3 pages of instructions. So honestly, I mean, I look at this, this is simpler than I thought. I've always found tabletop games to be a little bit intimidating, but when you look at it, it's interesting to see that the entire figurine is actually assembled out of just the pieces in these 2 parts. Part of unlocking the joy of a tabletop set is actually getting to sit down and assemble and paint it and actually create the thing itself. I have never built a miniature before, so what we're gonna do is Ziggy, our producer, is gonna help me as we assemble this Zeratul figurine. Then we're gonna paint it, and we will have our very first StarCraft miniature made. Again, this is just one figurine in the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game. So we have a lot more figurines coming here, but we're gonna start with Zeratul. We're gonna get this painted, built out, and see how it looks.
Right now on these sentries, Zound can finally get to the main base, even hallucinated Phoenix and be giving him vision. These 2 gateways getting empowered. We do have 1 more up for a DT, but it's a lot of stalkers.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of damage coming in. You know, he has the batteries, but if you're one-shotting stuff, it's not really going to end up helping out. So these stalkers really running rampant in here right now. And there's a defensive DT warp, and that is not what you were looking for, man. Hero, the writing is on the wall.
Yeah, these stalkers will be able to dance around that DT, get a lot of damage done. Robo is started here for Zound, and Hero, he has only got 2 powered gateways right now here in the main base, so he's going to be using these DTs defensively to try and get a grasp on the situation, but you see the damage being done by these stalkers, and eventually the Observer is going to be on the field here for Zound. He's going to get the detection, he will be able to neutralize the DT threat, and before then, how many workers is Hero going to lose?
It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. I mean, actually, I'll be very surprised if he can turn this into a real game from here, to be honest. Like, I know that DTs over time may potentially kill these stalkers, but the damage output is insanity.
Yeah, especially with force field able to be utilized here. You can just blink the stalker back, drop a force field there on the ramp, and Zound is nice and safe in his main base. Hero down to literally 1 probe, and now no probes and no minerals. So GG is called, and a kind of tumultuous game number 1 with the Proxy Robo versus the Hidden Twilight Council. It's actually the blink tech that wins out for Zound.
It does. It does. I feel like, you know, Zound, he just barely held that. As Hero was going up the ramp, I was like, ooh, you're in some trouble, right? We have 4 Adepts coming up. There was no block to stop the Shade and slow this down, and they get right in, and the Immortal walks up. But you're right, he got those couple extra Stalkers warped in pretty quickly, was able to get rid of the actual Immortal, and it just went in his favor from there.
Yeah, the Immortal getting isolated, not being assisted by those Adepts might just be one of the big mistakes there for Hero in the early game, because unless you're able to get some momentum building with the Proxy Robo play, you're not going to outskill Blink Stalkers. Once Blink is actually done and we have a meaningful number of Stalkers on the map, it's very difficult to get any damage done. As Hero, you can see him just go for the Hail Mary play there with the Dark Shrine, was not able to make it happen.
Yeah, well, this early in the game, Blink Stalkers beat just about everything. So, you know, that's part of the power of trying to go for that. Of course, you know, the DTs were not a terrible idea, I think, because he was already so far behind. You know, maybe if his Robo's in his main base, he can actually stay on that Robotech and end up breaking out and be all right, but definitely not in this case. So Zound is going to take a very strong game number 1. Congratulations to him.
And it's an interesting one for game number 1 to go to, because one of these hidden blink techs is not something you see very often in a PvP.
Not too
it's
much.
kind of off the beaten path. All right, folks, game number 2 is loaded in, and we're going to Tokamak here, and spawning in the top right. Proxy Robo didn't work for him in game number 1. Can he pull it back here in game number 2? It is Hero.
I love that he has a picture of Zest.
Oh, did he? I actually didn't catch
his
that.
swirling thing is Zest. All right, in the bottom left, winning game number 1, it's Zound.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for waiting. We're going to go into the final best of 3 for the night. And it's kind of like Rainer's out. That was a shocker. Now Clem's out.
What is happening in this season, man? Already so many upsets and unusual results coming through.
I mean, it's already with this season such a different look from all the seasons, excuse me, from the previous year. I mean, this is crazy. So it's going to be MaxPax versus Bunny. You can see our results for Group A as well as C. We are in Group B. Don't be confused. This might look a little bit weird at first. We had to move some matches around here for scheduling for one of the players here. So this is going to be it. It's going to be a PVT to close the night out here. Rogue excitingly gets out in first place, giving the Zergs some hope.
And they need it, yeah. Only Shin remaining. Also, not only Rainer and Clem, but also Classic, dude. He won 2 seasons last year.
Yeah.
And now he doesn't make it out of the group stage.
I mean, this happens. Times change.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a very different period here. It's cool to kind of flesh out where everybody's going to end up as we are close to finishing up the round of 16 here. We're ready to go now into the final match here of Group B. This is MaxPax versus Bunny.
Yes, indeed. MaxPax in the top left as the blue Protoss, and Bunny in the bottom right as the red Terran. Bunny's shown a lot of aggressive games so far in his TVPs. I'm curious if we'll keep seeing some of these 2-base pushes he's been doing. I feel like MaxPax is so good at holding these, though, that I'm not sure if that's the way to go. But I'm also not sure what else you do against MaxPax, because we just saw him beat Clem in a late game as well.
Yeah. I mean, MaxPax is a really scary player to go against. You know, Bunny, in some ways, had the most surprising performance. I mean, it was rough to see what, Rainer was able to do to him, right? But I think Bunny's got a real shot of making it here. You know, I mean, sometimes you look at a series like the Bunny Rogue thing and you think there's no way Bunny can win this season just based off that game alone. But maybe he makes it out here and is able to avoid Rainer. You know, sometimes your best hope is someone else has a solution in the bracket and you know, that threat is eliminated. But this is going to be a fun one. I think it's slightly MaxPax favored, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I also feel the same. I feel like MaxPax is very strong in this matchup, and it looks like eBay blocks are just kind of the meta right now between these players. We're seeing it basically every TVP we have. The Protoss going to take this space here. Got to be careful the SCV doesn't get there first. I feel like, is there going to be a point where they just like make that bunker with like half the HP that it has and send the SCV a little bit quicker to make sure they can block that?
It makes you wonder, and then you know there's like a point where like, okay, well, like how many blocks is actually good? Where like you're supposed to be spending your own money at home, because I've definitely experienced that where I'm like a little bit too crazy about interfering. But yeah, I think there's something to what you're saying there, right? So it's going to be one of these a little bit weird-looking fast expand games. I don't know how punishable Protoss is when they have their second base out here, but there are some sneaky plays you could do. You know, a lot of these fast expand builds, you kind of combo them with 1-1-1 builds with drop. So let's see if that's something we're going to have here now.
Yeah, indeed. There is a big airspace behind that base where you can fly a medevac, you can fly it into the main, you can hit the natural of the Protoss, you have your options, and it's a little bit difficult to split your units as the Protoss. That can come into effect. We do see the CC and the factory on the way for Bunny. He's got that reactor on the barracks, going to be making Marines 2 at a time for the moment. And he's also got a bunker up as well, just to make sure he's safe from any early Protoss units which may be coming across the map.
Okay, so, you know, the Twilight coming along here, we're going to see that tech. If I'm guessing anything, it's going to just be Blink over here. Ooh, I thought he was going to get up there for a second.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. You raised one depot and then the other one like a second
normally,
later.
Yeah, funny rhythm there with the depot raise for sure. So, you know, right now the Adept's just trying to peek in here and see if he can get any information. That first Hellion's going to come out across the map, and he's actually going to catch this Adept. I mean, it seems like MaxPax wasn't quite being attentive.
Yeah, the second one does join up with it. We'll take out another Marine here. This one falls back to the bunker. You can just walk past that, though. That is a thing you can do. The SCV will have to run away, lose a little bit of mining time, and then I guess the Adept will shade out in a moment.
Yeah, so it's going to be the Robo off of 2 gates, but there's nothing to protect this. You know, this does come back to that second base being stuck out here. You know, you don't have that kind of comfortable natural spot where you can kind of wall it off with a couple of buildings and make it a little bit difficult. Not that MaxPax gets that many kills here, but yeah, I think it's a pretty smart move. I think Bunny, by the way, might be gearing up for an attack here with the Raven coming out, the tank. I don't know. It seems like, you know, we don't have another command center just yet. And again, that Nexus is sticking out. Maybe he does want to do some kind of sharp 2-base timing. He seemed to want to be very attack early oriented here today. It's been very action-packed games here from Bunny.
Yeah, that's kind of been the theme of his games. Aggressive off 2 bases, and also with a Raven, right? We've seen him make a Raven in basically every game, sometimes with Interference Matrix. This time without it, he's going to send it across, drop auto turrets at the Protoss mineral line, and just harass those probes for days. This Adept still trying to get some information here at the front with these shades. You just keep sending it up the ramp intermittently, see if there is any info you can glean. And MaxPax has a Warp Prism on the way, and that was kind of the hero unit in his last series. This Adept will just make it away there.
Okay, Warp Prism out. It's funny, I was talking about how there could be an attack coming in here, but with the opening that we're seeing right now from Terran, from Protoss, we're going to have the Warp Prism come across the map. There's going to be a little bit of Stalker harass here. Now, the auto turrets have been thrown down and some workers have been killed.
Yeah, he actually dealt with that one quite nicely there. Already had the Stalkers in position. And MaxPax, this is where you can start to find some holes in the Terran play. Like, if you're not in position, if he catches you lacking, you will lose some workers. We do have one tank there, which is covering this mineral line right now. A couple workers going down, not the end of the world. Was that some friendly fire there? I'm not sure exactly what happened. This Raven in trouble is going to run away, drop another turret here. There's some Stalkers being blinked in, though. Warped in, sorry. Can they blink down and catch this is the question. It will get stuck in the airspace there.
Yeah, you're basically, that's your home now, Raven. So he's going to be there for the rest of the game unless he's able to sneak out later. Sometimes you can try to push when a Raven or a medevac gets stuck in a moment like that if you go really fast. And so he's going to move out now. Now the Warp Prism's going to see this. Could he like snipe the tank maybe?
Oh, I was thinking that too, Tasteless.
Yeah. God, we're good.
We're so good.
You're lucky we're not in this game together in Archon mode is what I'm saying.
We'd have like half the supply.
I know, right? I'd be like, don't push yet, don't push now. So he's going to try to just come in here and clip off the units that
I thought you were making workers.
What do you mean? Who's macroing? Who's attacking? Oh, my God. He's going to try to hit right now. And I don't know what's actually over at the third base, but he can set up a little foothold out here. Okay, so one Immortal, and the Robo is at this point, too. So if he pushes this, he could take the Robo out, and it's going to be only Gateway Tech.
Yeah, sometimes that can be a game-ending move. We see some force fields go down right now, but there's actually not a Protoss units here going to be forced to move back to the shield battery, and this bio is hitting so hard. The tanks now siege up and join in with this army. And like you said, Tasers, the Robo goes down at the front. Yeah,
he takes it out, and that means it's just like Zealots and Stalkers out here fighting. MaxPax is in Trouble Town. This is so bad. I think this game's basically over. I think Bunny wins this.
He's in Trouble Town, in Worryville.
Yeah.
And all sorts
right down, this is so bad, street.
Down Terrible Avenue.
Yes, it's okay, GG.
GG is called.
Wow.
Bunny still making these pushes work.
Yeah, I like it. It all comes down to the eBay blocking it. I've had a lot of games where I talk about this, and I'm like, oh, his second base is kind of in a weird spot. A lot of games, nothing happens, but this game, he did push early, and it is hard to stop. I don't know if it would have mattered if the Robo was somewhere else, but it didn't seem like maybe MaxPax's third base was too fast there. I'm not sure exactly how to play that as Protoss, but definitely did not have enough to deal with the push that was coming.
Yeah, it's kind of a pros and cons situation. If the Robo is hidden in your main or something, it's not going to die, but also it takes your Immortals a long time to get to the front.
Yeah.
Whereas if your Robo's at the front, you get the Immortals quickly, but like you said, it can be picked off. So that did end up being the case here, and I think Bunny's just got some really clean pushes in this matchup.
And I got to say, it's exciting to see how well Bunny is doing. I've always thought this guy is very consistently stuck with StarCraft and really try to always bring out the best version of himself, and that's true right now here as well. And Gemini was saying, and I think he's correct about this, but that Bunny's finished his military service. So he's out of that. You can't make money, or you're not allowed to make money outside of, like, I guess whatever the government pays you when you're serving in the Korean military. So you can't be a pro gamer.
Yes.
So, a lot of people used to say this was like a death sentence for pro gamers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a long time ago it used to be, right? The military service used to be like 3 years.
Was it 3 years?
I think
that's crazy.
I'm looking at Lucas.
2.
3 years? Yeah,
Lucas
is nodding. Yeah. If you're like
in
your
military
50s
service?
or 60s.
You've done it already? Your military service? Kim Jong attacks us. We're gonna be okay. Protect us. Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy amount of time.
But that was like a while ago. Now it's gone down all the way to like 16. I have to look at Lucas when I'm saying this. 16, 18 months around there is the shorter military service time now. Lucas is out.
Nah, if I had flat feet, I wouldn't have been down, be able to do it. I'd be working in the subway station. I would have been doing whatever the easy job is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, Bunny is back, and he is looking very good at the video game.
Yes, he's back. Well, here's the crazy thing is like, so when I was young, and especially when I moved out here, there was kind of this attitude of like people can't be good as they get older, which is just so dumb because it's like, why? I mean, I understand like eventually you're like really old and you're aging, right? But like, you could, if you're able to type and play reasonably fast and learn, you should be fine.
Look at Daigo, man.
Yeah, Daigo's a great example.
For
what is he? Is he 45 now?
He's in his 40s, yeah. I remember back in the early Counter-Strike days, there was a player on SK who was like 25, and everyone was like, oh, he's too old now. His reflexes are gone. It's like, no, that's actually not the case at all.
No, it doesn't make any sense. It's weird. That's his second building?
Wow.
Like, never see an 18-year-old make a play like that.
Yeah, that's an
For some reason,
old man play
that was
there.
tricky for me to look at. Yeah, those
Double
both block.
eBay,
yeah, double eBay.
Very nice. They will get cancelled now. The Nexus is down on the third base. Kind of a repeat on the Protoss side for the early game. We do see it's a one gas opener from Bunny. Going to be going for his CC in the main base this game, as well as that reactor as well.
So, this is, in a lot of ways, it looks like this same game from before.
Yeah.
But, the difference is the command center's in the main this time. How much scouting did Protoss get on this side of the map? Because I was watching the eBay blocks. Does he know?
I don't know if he knows yet. No, it looks like he hasn't seen anything so far. He will be sending the Adept across now, so he'll start to get some info shortly.
This might look like it's a 1-1-1 on one base.
Yeah, it can be confusing if you don't get up there and actually see. You do get to see the add-on on the barracks. Eventually, you have to bring the CC down, so they're going to know, but there is a scary moment there where you're kind of in the dark, right?
Yeah. Well, you can get there and be like, oh my god, I'm being dropped or rushed right now. So he's going to see this. And, yeah, I mean, this can set you on a very different trajectory. Okay, so he should know that there's a second...
Oh, he actually sees it.
Yeah, he saw it. That's crazy.
Yeah, wow. I can't believe you got to see that there, but very nice scout for MaxPax. Able to confirm it is a 2-base. Nothing crazy is going on. He's not being 1-based. And now he'll be confident to go ahead and chrono his Nexus, get his economy online as fast as possible.
Now, he doesn't know what kind of 1-1-1 it is post-expand. So it's going to be Cyclone. We'll see what the starport tech is. There's so many different ways to play this.
Indeed. These Adepts actually going to take the fight against the Marines, and they're actually going to do very well here for a moment. They would have to get out of here as the Cyclone comes out. Oh, the SCVs get stuck in the main as the depots were raised. A little bit chaotic here in the early game.
Where's the Robo? I think it's at the expansion. This is, there it is.
There it is. Similar spot to last game. Okay, we'll have to keep an eye on that. There's a Raven coming out.
We're going to have to catch this perfectly. We're going to keep beating games like this till we get it right, Surgeon. Yeah.
You guys can't see, but Taylor's doing the gamer lean right now. He is so locked in on this monitor.
I'm ready to go. We're going to understand how this interaction goes perfectly.
We'll try.
Yeah. So Raven coming up here. And unless we see a third command center, it is going to be an attack. Honestly, if I were Bunny, I would be doing this game looks so similar to the last one. I would just be doing the same thing again.
Yeah, he does have the Cyclone this time, which changes things a bit. You do have a lot of chase down potential. We'll lock onto this Adept, but the Shade will finish, and he will get out of there. Actually gets into the mineral line. Going to force one SCV to run away. Can't quite get one. Yeah, it does see the Raven, though. That's nice to confirm that.
Okay, so there's no quick third, right?
Yeah.
And so this is basically the 2-base 4-gate. And so what's funny is like when you see two players moving across the map like at the same time like this, it's like, well, one of you is wrong. Like you're not both supposed to be in the middle and fight. So Protoss is going to get to attack first. Now, the reality is because Terran's sitting on 2 bases and powering, it's a little bit easier to hold this, but you can still be totally effed up by an attack like this. This is like really hard to deal with. I think this is still a really strong build to this day.
Yeah, I think Bunny hit a nasty supply block there at 54 as well. I just suddenly saw 3 depots in production. Never mind, here goes MaxPax, just blinks on the tank. So decisive, gets the Cyclone as well. Only a couple Stalkers, or maybe even just one fall here. couple more SCVs going down. He's going to blink back these Stalkers. MaxPax very committed with this. Got to get some damage done. The Raven flies in, dropping that auto turret as well. Another warp in here for MaxPax. Takes this.
Yeah, he's going to try to come in again. And I mean, you know, one tank, you can kind of disrespect it, and he goes right on top of it. He one-shots it. I think MaxPax actually might be able to snowball this. I mean, we're getting to the point where we're going to have to wait for another tank to come out. It might not ever be enough. He could do another warping round as well if he wanted to.
These Marines are all so low as well. Look at the HPs here. So many red HP bars. And these Blink Stalkers can kite for days. Going to move in and out. Pick off as much as they can. 5 more SCVs going down here. MaxPax has a work lead. He has a third base behind this as well as charge, but it doesn't matter. GG is called.
Yeah.
MaxPax takes it.
I mean, beautifully done. You know, it's. I think that build is always a strong build. I mean, you got to remember, like, that build can kill, you know, people that go for a quick third command center, but, like, he just killed a guy who was basically powering up for a push that was similar to the last game. You know, when you hold that, you need to have, like, one tank embedded deep in the back of the natural. You need another one, like, around the ramp, and then one in the main.
Right.
And when you get those 3 tanks, you know, each tank kind of covers each other, and the Stalkers, if they blink in, they just kind of eat too many splash damage hits. But Terran went for a Cyclone
Yes.
to start.
Yeah, and then he got blinked on after the tank. And didn't really seem very impactful at all, to be honest.
I'm trying to remember what happened to that Cyclone that game.
Well, it ran out, it chased an Adept, which shaded away, and then it went back, and then...
Oh, also some Marines were shaved off earlier, too.
Yeah.
You know, this all adds up. When you have an
Definitely,
attack
yeah.
like that coming to hit. I mean, Terran, it's funny. It's like they are very glass cannony. And so you need, like, just enough stuff and enough time for all the damage to be dealt. And then it's like there's this power spike and you win. But when you've bled off a couple units here and there, I mean, it's really hard to deal with. And so basically, MaxPax with a punch to the nose comes in and wins that game.
I like it, man. Mixing it up. Going aggressive one time. We've saw him defend all night, basically, against Terrans, right? He said, no, this time, I'm going to go for the Stalker aggression, and he makes it look very convincing.
Yeah, action-packed games here, by the way. We're going to go into that final game now. It's just loaded up here. Again, one player is out. The other player survives Group B. And what's already becoming, by the way, just to kind of recap here, a really unusual lineup of survivors from the round of 16. I mean, Clem's dead, Rainer's dead, Classic's dead. And just, you know, if you look at our tournament alone, but I mean, just in general, like, those guys were dominating last year.
Oh, yeah, all making deep runs. Classic winning 2 seasons. For me, that's still the biggest shock. He's looked really consistent for a long time. I mean, of course, everyone has a bad tournament, but it seems like it's happening all at once with Clem out as well.
Yeah, so, I mean, we're probably going to have a very different finals here for the RSL. In all the games that we had SCVs going across the map with eBay blocks, but we don't have it this time around. We have double gas on one base, which could be tech into fast command center, or at least that's been, you know, pretty common.
Yeah, for sure. We'll be able to get that factory online much quicker. I think it's nice for MaxPax that he gets to take his Nexus where he would like to make it. It's always a little bit uncomfortable to take it at the other spot. And I'm curious what Bunny's got cooked up here. He's got to have a strong build here with his 2 gas opening. This is it. Everything on the line right now. You got to use whatever you think is your best shot to win. We see it's going to be a Reaper. The probe is denied from getting in the main. Actually doesn't really see anything except this barracks making 1 unit.
Yeah, and I mean, Terran always wants to have a sense of what the probe can see in there and always make it around the space where they can't see in there. Just to keep people guessing, just to keep people looking, you know, and trying to figure out, okay, like, what can I actually, you know, what am I actually dealing with here? Even though you kind of already know it's going to be a 1-1-1 off this.
Yeah, indeed. And we see another Reaper being made right now, as well as the factory. So this could be some kind of Reaper Hellion thing. We might see a starport going down shortly. Nexus on the way for MaxPax. And this Reaper's going all the way around the map here. Checking for anything sneaky going on. Make sure there's not a pylon out here on the map or anything crazy like that. Or a probe that he might be able to find. And it is going to be the Hellion coming out of the factory first. Just 1 for the moment, as well as the CC.
And, I mean, unsurprisingly, with Twilight Tech, I think MaxPax is kind of go for this kind of root build. every time. And this branches into a lot of different types of games here, right? So game 1, we had him go for a third base, which I don't know if I want to say it was risky, but definitely that's a way you can die to a push, right? Nice kill, by the way, back there. Game 2, he went for the 4-gate Warp Prism, which was like crazy popular a long time ago, and it's never really gone away. I mean, sometimes builds trend more than others. But let's see how many gates he's going to get here, or if he gets a third Nexus off of 2 gateways.
Yeah, and already he's picked off 1 Adept here. His hand has kind of been shown now. He's making Reapers, he's making a Hellion. MaxPax already has a shield battery at home, starting to get ready for this push. Has a building going up in the wall. We'll have to see if he wants to try and make a full wall here, which is sometimes an option. This next building at the back, though, so it doesn't look to be the case. Will he just YOLO these units through into the main? Looks like he will. 1 Reaper goes down on the way. 2 Hellions get through, though, and let's see it. Where's the probe splits? Where's the probe micro here? You got to deny as many kills as you can on these Hellions.
Yeah, he's going to come in here. He's doing... you know, he's not getting that many probes. He's gotten 3, which is like... I mean, obviously, any probe kills is good, but I think you want to maybe get a little bit more than this. No third command center here back at home. Still just powering up for the time being. MaxPax at 33 workers to the 27 here of Bunny. So even though Bunny gets worker kills, it's not like, you know, he's out macroing him, at least for the time being.
Yeah, I think 4 probes for all those units is not bad at all. You're always going to lose something, right, to Hellions and Reapers in your main. We do see MaxPax going into Blink here. Is kind of tried and tested tech of choice, as well as the Warp Prism. He'll be able to go across the map. This 1 Adept still being a little bit annoying, seeing if it can do anything with the units in the bunker there, though. Cannot go any further. We'll probably just shade up the ramp, see if there's any info he can get. And he will actually see the tank, which is nice.
Yeah, he's going to spot that. Blink almost done as the Raven's going to loop back around. Now, we had the Raven come out last time, and it got some worker kills. It's going to be one of those moments they're both going to hit each other at kind of the same time. And it's just going to be, you know, kind of a remix of what we saw in the last game here. He's going to warp in those Stalkers. Now, how many tanks do we have? We've got
1 in the main, we've got 1 of the natural, and right now that is it. This factory's actually been lifted up, so there will not be a third one on the way. So the Adept's going to shade in on the tank here, and the Blink as well. It takes out that tank instantly.
Yeah, and you know, the tanks are not daisy-chained together, although I guess it's... Oh my god, does he notice this? Okay, so the auto turret's getting a lot of kills. For some reason, the probes are kind of being shifted from side to side. It is eventually cleaned up. So he has another... Oh no, I'm sorry, that's just the tank that was in the main. So yeah, normally you want to have them kind of connecting to cover each other, but I guess the fear is what if he just went in the main and looped around that way. But now, you know, there's this kind of destabilized position that Bunny's in, where, like, you know, these Stalkers can kind of abuse him. And, you know, we don't have medevacs out yet. And Marines are some of the... If they don't have upgrades in medevacs, they're some of the worst units in the game.
Yeah, for sure. We do see 2 medevacs coming out at a time now for Bunny, so he will be able to heal his units. This Observer in a nice spot here in the main. Kind of sees everything that's going on. Very annoying Observer to have in your base. And the tech of choice here going to be Storm for MaxPax on the back of this. Getting his third base, adding on more gates and charge. Just going to try and keep Bunny home for as long as he can while he gets his tech and base up here.
I really like MaxPax's tech. I don't know if Terran can push right now. You know what I mean? Like, this is... I guess maybe you kind of have to go for it.
Yeah, I think you have to try and make something happen without... yeah, this Raven's here, still here being annoying. 2 auto turrets at a time. With the shield battery, though, that's going to help out a lot to reduce the kills. And, yeah, Bunny's just going to go for it. I think stimming forward here, going to take out 1 Stalker. That's a good start. Concussive Shell's almost finished. And it looks like Storm will just be done in time if he chronos it here.
It is crazy how fast you can get Storm once it started.
Yeah.
Like, this is going to be done, like, right when he gets there. Does he have Templars ready?
I don't see any right now. Oh, he has 2 Templars. They're up there in the corner. Storm's just about to finish, and just in time there. That was down to the razor wire. Just finished in time to hit that bio. Everything's kind of low now in the orange and red. Does Bunny want to push the issue here? He's getting a 3rd CC behind this.
Yeah, you know, Bunny doesn't want to overextend. He does have plans for a longer game if it goes there. Bunny is going to kill that 3rd CC.
Yeah, MaxPax just gives it up.
Yeah, he says, you can keep it. He does snipe the tank. So this is like a really tight, low econ, powery slugfest of a game right now. the question is going to be like who can get a third base and keep the other one off of it, because I still think Terrence, now that Terrence is going to run back home, Terrence is going to have a much more sizable army. Storm at this phase of the game I think is better defensively than offensively. I don't feel like you're able to do as much. I guess you could Storm drop. That's always pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got a guy stuck on 2 bases because like all the workers are there.
All this Prism's actually out in the open. Going to try and pick it off. It will go down. That's a big pick off for Bunny. But meanwhile, the rest of the Protoss force is coming to the natural here. And Ghosts are on the way as well. He needs these to get some big EMP offs on these High Templar. Otherwise, Storms could be crazy right now.
Yeah, he's going to keep trying to push in here. Some nice Storms. The thing is, there's this army at the flank.
Yeah.
And I just don't know, there's not enough of anything other than these Stalkers that, like, you're not going to have, like, a weak side where, like, infantry are going to flank you. Now, there's more Zealots coming down, which kind of makes that a little bit more doable. I almost feel
huge
like...
EMP.
Okay, Bunny's going to try to come in again. I feel like he's really underutilized this left flank, and now everything that's on the right flank here for MaxPax has been thinned out. Okay, this is it, man. It's now or never. He's going to come from behind, but the Templars are zoning really well.
Yeah, this flank feels so late here from Bunny. All those units were over there for a long time. Finally, they do come in, but is it too late? MaxPax actually just powering through. Still has a ton of High Templar left. Going to make 2 of them into an Archon here. And the Terran army just falls.
MaxPax just John Wicks his way into the natural base and wins the game. Really impressive attack there. I think that group that was onto the side...
I'm so confused about that.
I think he at least had to do a fake out.
Yeah.
You have to at least bait the Storms, especially with Storm as it is now, because it's there forever.
Right.
How long is Storm out for now?
Just forever, literally a day and a
Forever,
half.
yeah. Like, it's like how long has the universe been around? Like, we don't know. We can't understand
we can't
that,
measure
right?
it.
Yeah. We're human beings. You only know it's like time in a certain way. So I mean, you don't bait out those Storms. You're not able to actually get in any meaningful way and get a surround. By then, the other Zealots were warped in. They came down.
Right.
And there was nothing that Bunny could do.
Yeah, I can't believe MaxPax just sacked his third and then walked across the map and won. It's kind of a wild series of events there, but he does clutch it out in the end. MaxPax and Rogue will be the 2 players advancing out of Group B. Bunny and Clem, very surprisingly, will be eliminated.
Yeah, what a day of games.
Yeah.
MaxPax moving on. Not too shocked about that, but Rogue surviving, that's exciting. So we've got, so far, 2 Protosses from Group A. Group C that we did last week is going to be a Protoss and a Terran, and then we got a Zerg and a Protoss. Okay.
Yeah, indeed. We'll see if any more Zergs. I'm kind of hoping Shin gets through as well. I'd like to see one more.
I think Shin and
Zerg
Maro
in the playoffs
should advance.
Yeah, I'd say they're favored, but Bjorn is also extremely good. We'll have to see what kind of form he's in on the day. I feel like sometimes he's just playing amazing, wrecks everyone, and then other times not so much. I feel like he could make it out. But Mario definitely the favorite in that group, I would say.
Yeah, I think he just advances. So if you're watching, you can always join us live. We are on the weekends in the evening time here in Korea. And we're probably going to be sticking to a schedule like this throughout the year when the RSL seasons are on. We do, for the final week of the tournament, we have a 3-day broadcast. We had the tournament very chopped up, and I think it felt fine until like the last 2 days, where we basically, like on one day we just had the finals, and it was like it was like an hour and a half, but it could have been like 35 minutes depending on how quickly the PvPs go, and we want to kind of stretch that day out. So before RSL was 12 days, we squished it down to 11 just to make the last day start earlier and kind of build up and be a little bit more hype. Anyways, the schedule is there, and we hope you join us. We are so lucky to be sponsored by, and guys, don't worry, I've been working out so I can pick up the heavy box set and put me on camera. Oof, big, strong
Look at those big
arms,
gamer arms.
Big, strong arms. Bringing out the StarCraft Tabletop Miniatures game. You guys probably saw me unboxing Zeratul on the break. They've sent us this giant set as well. This is the 2-player set. And honestly, this product is so cool. Like, it is... Blizzard has some of the highest standards for like who's allowed to touch their products. These guys make the best tabletop miniatures games in the world. They're the premier makers of it.
Yeah, it feels premier. It feels kind of loyal to the game, you know, like a very
It's true. I mean,
good depiction of all the characters.
Yeah, artistically, I mean, it is very much of the StarCraft universe, and we're just grateful that they came and sponsored us. So check them out. Pre-sales are online. Pre-orders are live. How is that different from pre-sales? Okay, he doesn't know. All right, I was just checking. All right, so go to their website. They've actually got other stuff for other games. Everything on there's cool.
You know what else is also cool,
You know what else is cool?
Tasteless?
Well-
The Patreon, man. Check it out at patreon.com/revivesc2. Thank you so much to everyone who's signed up already. You guys are what are making the RSL happen. There's a bunch of different tiers there for your needs. You can vote on the players, the maps, whatever else you like. There's also a free tier if you would just like to get an email or two about what it is we're
free
doing.
tier, but you don't get to be a unit.
You don't get to be a unit,
tier is
yeah.
$5. All right, you want to be a unit, you at least got to pay up. Okay, that's not everything in this world is free. The immortal tier.
It should be the destructible rocks tier.
Yeah, that's right.
The free tier.
We got to be careful. There's not that many immortal spots, guys. You saw how quickly those Robo Bays were killed in those 3 games. All right, so get those fast. We've got merch on my web site, my merch website, tastelessthreads.com. We got a whole bunch of stuff on there. It's RSL merch. There's Tasteless and Artosis related merch. There's esports merch, everything. So check it out. I mean, we've lost our minds with the merch site. We're basically, remember the band Kiss, okay, and all the stuff. That's basically what we've turned into. Okay. We're trying to be the insane clown posse of esports events, okay? Like, we're going to have so many different things on there. You got to collect them all. We need you guys to join our YouTube. And this is actually the most important mission, okay? You need to go and subscribe. You need to comment. You need to like the videos because the YouTube, it's not growing as fast as we would like. I think just because most of the StarCraft 2 content that was on YouTube was there when the game came out, or has been there for over a decade. And so, YouTube, it's funny. Like, I've got my own personal YouTube. You guys can follow as well. It's just Tasteless TV on YouTube. You start out and it feels small, and it's like, oh, how do you build this thing? And it's like a garden. You got to kind of water and give it sunlight, and then over time it can eventually, really balloon out into something massive. So consider joining us on our goal to get this spread around on YouTube.
Yep, and you also got all the VODs over there as well, spoiler-free.
Yes, spoiler-free.
Organized. Don't worry, there's nothing in the thumbnail that's going to give it away.
Yes. We don't have any kind of idiots making the thumbnail. I've worked for events. Won't say where, but they made a thumbnail, and it was like of a finals, and they literally in the thumbnail had the guy holding the trophy. There's like a whole scandal in the company, and they're like, "What are you doing?"
No.
The guy's like, "I thought it was a good shot. I'm sorry." So we don't have anything that's going to spoiler it for you. We know some of you guys can't watch live. Everybody's busy.
And that is important, right? It does kind of ruin it a bit if you go to watch a game and you're like, oh, that guy wins.
Yeah, unless I'm going to specifically just copy what the guy's doing to learn. And I'm like, but even then it's like more exciting to, get to try to experience it as if it's live. Like it's a great show. Yeah. So guys, that's it, right? We did everything. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We love you guys, and we will see you tomorrow for Group D of the RSL. Bye-bye.